Hi, everyone. Welcome to another interesting show. I hope you all had a very wonderful day. I hope everything is going well. I hope, today was wonderful for you guys. Today was wonderful for me as well, even though it's raining right now. And this stream is in the hands of, it's not in my hands, it's in the hands of God, okay? I've committed it to the hands of the Most High, and I believe it will go well. Amen? As a religious person that I am, I believe strongly that God is in control, because whenever it's raining in Nigeria, crazy things happen, especially with the network, with the internet service that you receive from your router and stuff like that. It might go crazy. Thus far, it hasn't gone crazy, meaning God is sitting on the throne. Amen? Amen. All right. How is everyone doing? How is everyone looking at the chat? You guys are here. Thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in. Thank you for giving me your time right now. Thank you that I have your attention right now. Today's live stream is going to be interesting, very spontaneous. I didn't have any news story in particular that I want to dive into. I have just a couple of things I want to go through from that I saw on Twitter, and I also want to react to a video from whatever podcast. I don't know how long there's is an episode. I think it's episode. Let me check the episode. I think it's episode 65. That's the episode that had to do with the lady that on the podcast who had 130 plus, but a body count of 130, over 130. Crazy. Yeah. And I felt there were a couple of things that were mentioned during the podcast that I want to highlight. I don't even know how I'll go about the whole reaction thing because it's a 4-hour long podcast. Of course, I will not go through all of it. But there are things that we have said in between, especially in the middle, that I consider very interesting, and I hope we'll be able to look at those things and you get my reaction, and we'll have a wonderful, wonderful live stream. How is everyone doing in the chat? Please, yes. Sorry, I don't know how to promote this stuff. I'm new to streaming. Please hit the like button, like this live stream. That's how YouTube will be able to. The algorithm will be able to, push this out there and let people know that we are live and let people, see this and join in. Please hit the like button, like as much as you can, okay? And yes, I'm open to super chats. I want to read all of them. I'm open to all your comments. I want to read all of them. And I believe that this will be a very, very wonderful live stream. Camille Thomas said, good to see you, Frank. Good to see you too. Good to see each and every one of you. I am so happy to see each and every one of you. And I called today's live stream Friday Fiasco. I'm a fan of alliteration. I like alliteration. Using alliterations, especially when I'm giving something a title. So I was thinking Monday Madness, Wed Wednesday, and Friday Fiasco, because my streams thus far have always had one or two issues. It's either it is crazy, something crazy always happens when I'm streaming. So I decided to, just lean into the craziness and just name the stream after all the crazy things that I've witnessed so far. So if what usually happens when I'm streaming happens, know that, just going with the title, right? Friday fiasco. So it is what you are supposed to expect. And I don't want to do something long and halfway get something, get the whole thing started. I don't want to start reacting to a very long video and halfway through I'll not be able to complete it like it happened last time. I want to be able to finish and not have technical issues. It happened once, but I don't know if it will happen again, and I'm hoping it does. All right. Yeah, we have people from the US. We have Sharon. Sorry, I'm not good with surnames. So Sharon from the US, she said hi from the US. Hi too. I'm happy you are here. I'm happy for everyone who is saying hi. And this is Finn9999. Said 100 plus body count must be a zombie. Well, that's what she said. And there is someone from, there's someone here, please, there's someone here from Phoenix, Arizona. Sorry, your chat just went up. I can't see it, can't find it. But I saw it. I don't know, I think it's okay. And now I can't find it anymore. But thank you to each and every one of you that are on the chat right now. And, okay, before I go into what we have for today, please, I want everybody to consider following me on Twitter. I think I have a very promising Twitter handle, and I'm going somewhere, so I'm worthy of being followed. I believe I'm worthy of being followed. I'm going somewhere. So please follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is at NIG Perspective. NIG Perspective. Follow me on Twitter. And right now we're going to go to my Twitter profile and look at some of the stories that I've been commenting on, and then give you my full live comment on the live stream. That's kind of how I'm going to be addressing all the news stories and the news headlines. They're basically news stories that I saw on Twitter, and we are going to be reacting to each and every one of them live. That's what we are going to be doing today. Also, if you are new to the channel, consider following this channel. Consider subscribing to the channel, not following the channel. Consider subscribing and ringing that notification bell, so whenever I go live, you'll be notified. And as you can see here, this is my pinned tweet, which is one of my interesting videos, if I do say so myself. One of my interesting videos about Andrew Tate. And I don't know if we should watch it. Anyway, let's just look at it. One of those funny videos that I made.
Offered $50 to $60 million by companies. I'm not going to.
The Vice Chancellor of Hustlers University, whose current hobby is nudism, released a video to his fans recently telling them this.
I've been offered $50 to $60 million by companies I'm not going to name. All I had to do was shut up. And I refused to do that. I refused to sell my soul.
Yes, I mean, it's not like he ran a webcam business.
I had 75 women working for me in 4 locations.
Or scammed his clients.
We were taking their money, all of it.
Or taught tax evasion.
You're not going to pay anybody tax because you're getting paid in Bitcoin.
Or taught his students how to be pimps.
The PhD course is my recruitment system.
Or bragged about having mafia ties.
3 brothers, mafia guys that own 400 casinos.
And moving to Romania for easy access to corruption.
I like living in countries where corruption is accessible for everybody.
I mean, he's the epitome of humility.
Just because I'm the best there's ever been.
And a foreigner to self-snitching.
I've done some things when I had to pay the bills.
If you think this upright citizen sold his soul for 50 or 60 million, then you, my friend, are still in the matrix.
That's one of my best works, guy. Best work. I'm really proud of this video. I am proud of the editing. I'm proud of everything. Somebody here, Progress, said, "You, Frank, my fellow Igbo guy." Yeah, Igbo Kwenu. I don't even know if people in the chat understand that. That's how Igbo people greet themselves. Anyways, so yeah, one of my best. I remember when I was thinking about making the video, and I was like, why is the new trend? Maybe it's not a new trend for Andrew Tate. He has been doing that for a while, but as during this house arrest, most of the videos he have been putting out, kind of lean into this nude Andrew Tate. The Andrew Tate who hates wearing clothes. And I'm like, is this his new trajectory? Is this the new angle he's going with? Kind of funny to me. So when I was making the video, I was like, I'm going to point that out. I'm going to point out the fact that his hobby is now nudism. He's now an enemy of clothes, I guess. I guess clothes was invented by the Matrix to keep us, in bondage or something like that. And of course, you can also see that I was able to point out some of the things he has said which are contradictory. And statement. The best video collection I've ever seen is those Andrew Tate versus Andrew Tate that I see on Twitter. They are very funny. If you guys are on Twitter, I'm sure you must have seen many of them. If you follow me on Twitter, I often repost most of those clips, and you see most of them, and also know why I make some of the comments I make on my video. I really believe that if you follow me on Twitter, you understand why I make some of the content, why what I say in my videos will make sense to most of you, because some things I say in the videos, I don't really give, especially the shots that I make, I don't tell the full story, because sometimes I operate with the mindset that everybody already knows what I'm talking about, or you've already seen what I'm talking about, or you're not a stranger to what I'm talking about. But often when I read the comments, I realize, or I am reminded of the fact that not many of you are not on Twitter. Many of you have not seen the story that I'm reacting to. Many of you don't understand. I still need to provide context. And if I have to provide all those contexts and also all those surrounding scenarios around the news that I'm reporting on, it will no longer be a short. It will have to be a longer form video. And I have been lazy so far with regards to making, 5 minutes, 10 minutes videos. But I'm thinking of doing that again, or kind of cutting some of my live stream into 10 minutes, 20 minutes smaller videos that people can consume and enjoy. I'm thinking of doing that, but we'll see how it goes. Thank you, David Sutherland from Canada. Thank you for the $2 Canadian, two Canadian dollar. Thank you so much. I am also happy to hear that you love the content and you love the videos that I'm putting out. Thank you so much. Thank you for the support. So that's my pinned my pinned video. So let's go to something else. This is something that I saw a few minutes before I came live. It's something that I saw was posted by Lips of TikTok, and I want us to react to this video. I think this video is kind of shocking to me, and I just want you guys to see it. Let's start from the beginning.
Nigga, we act them those. Don't you act like a soul. Hold on, bro. How act like bows? I act like soul. I act like soul. We need that we blown in. This shit outside. You know what it is? You know what it is? That's a bear. We ain't no shit. No shit. Let them hit. Let them hit it. Big sweet no shit. We outside with some shit. We outside with some blue ass. Yeah, we bitch outside. Bro, don't jump my weed. Oh, shit.
Watching this video, I have so many questions. I have so many questions. When I saw this, as I'm watching it again, just so many questions are popping into my head. Whose phone is that? Whose phone are these kids using to record this? Do they have their own phone, or was it the phone of a parent? Who is posting this video? Whoever, the adult who is posting this video, thought it was something that... that's the first issue I have, is whoever posted this saw the children recording this and thought, oh, this is cool, I'm going to post it online. I'm going to put it on Instagram, because this is obviously Instagram Reels. I'm going to post this on Instagram for my subscribers to see. For my followers on Instagram to see, for the whole world to see. What exactly is going on in the mind of the person who posted this? And is the person who posted this, is this the guardian of these children, the parent? Who is the person exactly, and what was the person thinking? And how is this not concerning? How did the person see this and was not disturbed? This was not disturbing. These children are acting like gangsters, like hoodlums. This is how Tekashi 6ix9ine will act in a music video, right? This is how most of these rappers who end up getting shot or overdose. This is how they act in this drill New York drill rappers. This is how they act in their videos, right? And this is how old are these children? They don't even look like they are. The oldest there maybe, I don't know, 7. Am I being generous to even say the person, so one of them is up to 7 years of age? Is that not like? I don't know if you guys understand my serious concern here and how troubling I consider this, how disturbing I consider this, and the fact that people this is terrible. Where are the parents of these children, and who is raising these children? Who are the people raising these children? How? I mean, and of course, people in black neighborhoods want to say this is the environment. We grow up poor, whatever it is that they claim to be the reason why they live a life of crime and stuff like that, and how they glorify crime so much so that you have children of this age acting in this particular way and thinking this is the right way to behave and thinking this is, I don't know, fun, cool. Like that's obviously what it is. These children think this is cool. When I was younger, when I was the age of these kids, what we were acting out was how to be parents. I kid you not, there's this game would you play as children in Nigeria growing up in Lagos. We call it playing mama and papa. That is what we did. What it means playing mama and papa is acting as parents, acting like our parents. Somebody will act like the mother, someone else will act like the father, and then some people will act like the children, and then somebody will be like, I'm in charge of cooking. The other person would be like, I'm in charge of then the father will be the person acting as the father will go out, come back, and the children. It was just like you're playing, what I call it, playing house. I don't know if that's what it means. But that's the kind of things we did when we were trying to play or act out something. That was what we were acting out. That was what we saw the adults around us do. We saw them being parents, taking responsibility. And that's the kind of game we played as children. And this is us growing up in a poor neighborhood in Lagos, Nigeria. It's not like we grew up. I grew up in a place in Lagos known as Mafoluku. Mafoluku is not one of the wealthy parts of Lagos. It's one of the slums. Well, not really a slum like a Jegule or those places where they are like living. I don't even know how to describe the living condition, but it was not great. It really was not great. If I start explaining the house where we live and the condition upon which that house was and how we managed and how it was terrible. And we did not do this. Like, we did not glorify crime, even though we grew up from a very poor neighborhood. It was not something that we this was not, we did not see anything like this. I don't understand what will breed this kind of environment or justify this kind of behavior, and how people want to make this look like, well, it's the environment that we are. Why is that environment in existence in the first place? How is that the case? You cannot blame this on poverty or whatever it is you want to blame it on. This is bad. This is horrible. And to see children acting out like this is heartbreaking. Really heartbreaking. That is the only thing I can say. That's the adequate response that anyone should give to this. There should be no justification or whatever it is for this kind of thing. Because it's something that I often see, right? You see young people, young black children behaving in a particular way. People call it out and say this is terrible, this is wrong. And then the next thing you see, people try to make excuse for it and claim that, oh no, you see, these children came from nothing. They came from poverty. All they knew was crime. That's the only way they could get by. And I'm like, come on. Is that black communities that live in the ghettos? They are the only ones who have experienced poverty. The poverty they are experiencing is a unique kind. And they are the only ones who are surrounded by hardship of the worst kind, right? That's the lowest of the low you can ever be, a poor black person in America, that you have to glorify crime. No, there are poor people all over the world and they don't glorify crime. So there is no excuse for this whatsoever. There's absolutely no excuse for this. You know, let me see what people are saying in the comments. This is from Micah. He said they are privileged by just living in America. And that is a fact. I know many people don't say that, but if you are living in America, if you are living in the West, I don't care your skin color, I don't care what you think you are going through. Know that you are privileged. You are highly privileged, right? You are. And Can Wayne said, this is what you get when the state is your father. Exactly. Like I've said in many of my live streams, when I see things like this, I ask myself, where are the parents? Where are the parents in this situation? where are the parents? Where, especially the father? You know, it looks like the male role models that these people are exposed to are the ones who are into, you know, gang-related activities, gang violence, and stuff like that. You know, nefarious criminal activities. Essentially, the men these people have to look up to are criminals. You know, it's just pathetic, to say the least. And brother Molelekwa, I don't know if I should call it brother, but I just pronounce it as brother Molelekwa. We can only hope that they are found by a responsible person who will show them the way. I hope so, but honestly, I don't even see the likelihood of that even happening. Like, where would the responsible person come from? Like, thus far, I don't think they've seen anyone. And I don't know if their relatives are, if any of their male relative or any relative, elderly relative of these children, if any of them is aware that this nonsense is online. This nonsense that these children did right here is already online for everybody to see. And I don't know if how many of them are okay with this and there's no pushback from their immediate family to say, no, this should not even be online. This is disgraceful. Because the way I see it is like everyone in their life, every adult in their life is like, oh, this is fine. This is funny. I'm very sure they did this and thought it was a very good joke or something. You know, it's just sad to see. Anyway, moving forward. Let's go to the next video that I saw on that I reacted to. I don't know why my can exit full screen. Sorry about that. I couldn't exit my full screen for a minute there. So let's see the next. Okay, here is something that is light and funny that I saw. And I want you guys to listen to this. It's really funny. Trust me. This is really, really funny stuff here. All right, let's start from the beginning. And let's go.
I want y'all to think about something. And I really want y'all to really think. Do you ever wonder why it's so hard for black people? Do you wonder why it was a whole slavery thing with us? Why are we killing each other like this? Like, seriously, just wait till I tell you the reason. We are the gods of this universe. We created this universe. You have to get out of the human form. We black people have souls. We are from time and space, infinite beings. We never die. So that is why they try their best to institutionalize us. We have power. We have magic. We have gifts from the motherfucking universe. And that is why they are so fearful of us. That is why they can't stand us. That is why they hate us, especially black women. We are powerful as fuck. Period.
Amen. Amen. That's right. Tell them. You're so powerful. That's why they're trying to kill you. No kidding. No kidding. And not just that they are trying and they are failing. They are trying and they are succeeding tremendously. That's if they are the one, if there's a day trying to kill you. This is very, very ridiculous. Afrocentrism is very ridiculous. This black supremacist talking, this rambling. Anytime I see it, it's just funny. Yeah, and we see it all the time. There are different variations of this nonsense. You see people are, black people built Europe. Oh, tell me. Oh, so black people are master builders. They built Europe, but they could not build Africa. Yeah, tell me about it. That's fantastic. That's wonderful. You don't mean it. And of course, she's saying black people are gods. We have superpowers. We are remarkable. We are grand. We are this. We are that. We are from time and space. All this, rubbish. All this mumbo jumbo mystic nonsense. You know, you just mash rubbish together and make yourself feel good. You are so great. That is why you are being oppressed and successfully being oppressed. Let's assume that you are being oppressed. The reason why you are killing each other, why you cannot get your act together, is because you are so wonderful. You are so wonderful. So you possess so much power, so much wonderful things, creativity, whatever it is. Creative ability, you have so much of it, and that is why you are killing yourself. That is why you are the poorest. That's why you are a laughing stock for the most part. You know, that is why your ancestors ended up as slaves, you know, because you are just so powerful. Because everyone knows that's exactly what happens to powerful people. You know, when a powerful tribe and a weak tribe go to war, what usually happens is that the weak tribe wins. They win because they are weak. And the people who lose, they lose because they are strong. It's how it happens. I know some of you have not really considered this, but I think she's operating from that biblical verse in the Bible that said, let the weak say I am strong, and let the poor say I am rich. So I guess that's her scripture. That's her working verse. That's where she got her inspiration from. But all of this is obviously ridiculous. It is obviously ridiculous. And it does not... One thing is, I don't like people. Confidence is a good thing. It is a very good thing. It is good to be confident, to have huge confidence, right? Confidence is very important in life. But when you are confident in stupidity, it is bad, right? Anything mixed with stupidity is bad. Anything mixed with lack of value, lack of intelligence, you know, lack of intellectual capacity, lack of substance. You just lack substance. You are confident, but you lack substance. You lack so many things in life. You are a walking, breathing embodiment of lack. You lack so many things, but one thing you don't lack is confidence. That's a very terrible combination. That's how you end up with things like this. That's how you end up with people who can proudly and boldly say nonsense like this and think that they are saying something profound. I mean, it's just wonderful. I can go on for hours talking about it, but please let me go to some people in the comments, and I don't even know if some of them are. This is from Fox Metal Jacket. It says Section 8, Queen of the Gods. All right. And this is from Emma Rich. She said, I think what you want to say is black supremacy. And you said black supremacism. Anyway, black supremacy is hilarious just because they rarely ever speak of their own history, but just, yeah, I get what you're trying to say. It's hilarious on so many levels. There's any angle from which you look at it, you just can't help but laugh, especially when you are aware of the facts on ground. And when you realize that people who are making all this funny boast have nothing to boast about. They really don't have anything to boast about, right? There's nothing, like we say in Nigeria, there's nothing to write home about when you consider these people. And this is the funny thing, right? These people have nothing to write home about, and they think that the fact that they have nothing to write home about, they have nothing to show, is a proof in itself that they are. In fact, the lack of evidence is evidence in itself. The lack of the presence of nothing to brag about is enough. That's to tell you how stupid these people are. I am poor, and that's proof of how wonderful I am. I am rich is also proof of how wonderful I am. You know, it's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. These people are operating on a very different level. Anyways, let's continue. And this is why you need to follow me on Twitter. Let me constantly keep plugging my Twitter. I want my Twitter to grow. I want to hit 1,000 followers on Twitter. Guys, make it happen. Please make it happen. If 55 of you follow me on Twitter, I have 55 more followers. All right, let me go to the next thing that I talked about that, of course, we all know this is heavily controversial. And this is a tweet from Murdered by Crayons, which is someone you should follow. He covers a lot of Andrew Tate content that you guys it will help you understand a lot about the Tate brothers, you know, if you are interested in knowing the truth about them. And here's an interesting video. Let's see what it is about.
A lot of Americans are very fragile in the way that every penny they make is watched and studied. And if you're foreign living in Romania, they don't care about your tax affairs. You don't owe them money. Whereas Americans think that you owe them money if you're an American citizen, regardless of where in the world you are.
Gotcha.
Which is, it's something very interesting with Andrew's War Room, the organization he runs. He's now, the initial casinos we've opened are making money and doing very well. He's offering a chance for our American guys to buy into casinos here in Eastern Europe and to get paid in Bitcoin. So the fact that I only have to pay the Romanian government a little bit of tax for running these businesses here, and I can send Bitcoin over to the United States. So he's offering this, outside of, I don't know.
Let's not tell everybody.
Yeah, fair enough. But it's it's a good system here. If you know the right people, you can do pretty much anything you want. So.
So many things I want to say about this video. So many wonderful things I want to say about this video. Zubi. Zubi, my Nigerian brother. Why? Why, Zubi? Why? Like, why? Zubi has been a strong defender of the Tate brothers. Like, he has been a staunch, he has, and his defense is just, I don't know what to say. When Zubi became really prominent on social media, I was really happy. It's not just that he's a Nigerian, right? He's an Igbo person, only Igbo, and I know, right, from his name. I think he's Zubechuku. I think that's his name. I don't know which one. Either it's Chizube or Zubechuku, or if it's something Zubi. I don't know. But when he I think he has over 1 million followers on Twitter, which is very interesting. As in, it's remarkable. This is remarkable milestone and clout that only many people can dream of having. Right? It's not everyone who has 1 million followers on Twitter. Twitter especially. I don't even have up to 1,000, right? And I was really proud of Zubi's accomplishment, and he was really his story was really an inspiration for me. But lately, looking at some of the things he has tweeted and the people he supports, and especially his support for the Tate brothers, is really disappointing for me. Really, 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 really disappointing. But let's not go into that. And let's just focus on the fact that this guy here is exposing the fact that the members of the War Room, who are United States citizens, are being offered an opportunity to evade tax. Now, you can have whatever view you want to have on tax payment and how the tax laws in America are unfair, are unjust, whatever. But what is funny here is that whatever it is that they are doing is illegal, like it's a crime. To pay people through Bitcoin, and through Bitcoin they'll be able to evade tax. Andrew Tate has a course on that, of course, in the War Room, how you can use Bitcoin to evade tax, which is a crime, which is a criminal activity. And here he is on the podcast over here exposing it. And I replied to the post here. I said, I don't know if you guys can see. Let me zoom in a little bit. My response here is, what's the point of being what's the point of being a criminal if you can't brag about it online in every stream and podcast? Like, that's the Tate brothers. That's their memo. That's their modus operandi. That's their... what is wrong with that's the way they operate, Everything about them is public information. Everything about them must be known. If it is not known, then it's not. They're not okay with it. You must know about them. You must know everything about them. And it reminds me of just those serial killers who like they're killing a bunch of people, successfully getting away with it, giving the police a hard time. But they are not just okay with that. They want to be caught. Like, the beauty there is that they want to be recognized for the work they've been doing, right? They've been committing a lot of crime, they've been getting away with it, but it's not enough. It's not enough that I commit. That's one thing when you are a narcissist and you are a criminal.
It's not just enough that you are committing crimes. You still feel the need to show forth, to let people know that, see, yeah, look at, I'm an evil genius, and I want to tell you all about it so that you can respect me. There's a podcast where I watched Andrew Tate, and he said, one thing that is important for men, that one thing that men respect, the only thing that men want is respect. The only thing they want is respect. They want people who will respect them. That's the mentality these guys have. So anything that can get you that respect, that can make you look at them and be like, whoa, these guys are smart. These guys have it all figured out. These guys are intelligent. Any opportunity to show forth, to brag, to show off, to show that they are intelligent, to show that they are brilliant, they cannot withstand the opportunity. Or will I say, they cannot hold themselves from not taking that opportunity. They cannot hold themselves from not talking about it. It's just ridiculous. And that is the stupidity of the whole thing that they are doing, is that they are not discreet. Discretion does not exist when it comes to the Tate brothers. The wisdom of discretion is something that they lack seriously. And it just shows that these people are really, really stupid. Say whatever you want about them. Maybe they are the best people you've ever witnessed. They gave you the best advice that was able to may help you to put your life together. All of that may be true, but it does not negate the fact that if these guys were criminals, they were the dumbest. If they were criminals, they were the dumbest form of criminals you can ever find on the planet, because they were just talking about all their crimes because it made them look cool. Look at me, I'm cool. I committed this crime and I'm getting away. And somehow they feel they can get away with it. Like, you really think you can confess to committing crimes on every stream, on every podcast, and then you get away with it by claiming that you were only playing a character, because that's the new narrative. Oh, we are only playing a character, or we were sharing an opinion. This is freedom of expression. Yeah, you have freedom of speech. By all means, go to great lengths to incriminate yourself. You have the right to do that. Okay? But when you are talking about crimes that you committed, those things you said will be used against you in the court of law. That is how it goes. Anyways, we move on. Okay, this is something very interesting that I found. This is a tweet from Mas Blumenthal. I don't know who this guy is. And he was responding to a video by Barack Obama where he was... Let me just read the tweet from Barack Obama. Zoom in a little bit so you guys can see it. And I don't know why this stuff don't want to go down. Let me see if I reload it, if it will go down. Sorry guys, I just want this my message stuff to go down before my private messages, you guys get to see it without me knowing. Anyways, Max Blumenthal, I don't know who this guy is, but I guess he's somebody who is pretty prominent. Let me just check his profile before we move forward, so I can know something about him. Yeah, nothing to know. I guess if I click on this link, we can find out. Should I? Let me click on it so we can find out who he is before we... Oh, yeah, is this... Oh, this leads us to another Twitter handle. I guess if you click on... This is the website we should click on. And then it lets us know who this guy is. All right, let's see what the website says about him. There is nothing here. I guess I have to go to the About page. Okay, the About page. Let me know who runs the whole thing. You see, I'm doing my research, guys. I'm doing my research. I guess that's his name. Max Blumenthal, editor-in-chief. That's all I can say here, as you guys can see. This is his bio, essentially. Max Blumenthal is editor-in-chief of Grey Zone. Max Blumenthal is an award-winning journalist and the author of several books, including best-selling Republican Gomorrah Goliath, The Fifth the 50-day war, and the management of savagery. Is that the name? Is that kind of the name people bear in the West? Max Blumenthal? Or is that a pen name? I don't know. Guys, tell me in the comments if you know this guy. Let me know. Anyways, so before I went to his profile to kind of know who he was, or who he is rather, he said. So this is the tweet from. Let me make it bigger. Is this big enough? So this is the tweet from Barack Obama. He said, "It will take all of us coming together and doing what we can to help those in need in Maui and Lahaina right now." I don't know if I'm pronouncing the name of those cities correctly. I hope you will join me in donating to the Hawaii Red Cross today. And then there's the link to the Red Cross donation. And then Max Blumenthal replied, "The Red Cross raised $500,000 for Haiti earthquake relief in 2010, spent 25% on internal administrative costs, built about 6 houses for Haitians, and refused to say what he did with the rest of the money. And Michelle Obama helped lead their fundraising drive." That's crazy, guys. Like, this is supposed to be scandalous. This is something that should be front page news, as in right now. I don't know how it was then, but this is apparently he's not lying. Like this he brought receipt. This is from a news publication known as Gleason, PR Newswire, whatever. And he said, First Lady Obama joined Ad Council and American Red Cross to launch PSA to support victims of earthquake in Haiti. How the Red Cross raised $500 million for Haiti and built 6 homes. I mean, think about that. You raised $500 million, and all you were able to achieve with that is build 6 homes. 6 homes. With what kind of homes were you building? Was it Bill Gates style homes? What homes was it? What were you building? Jeez, 6 homes. And here's one of the things that he said. He said they spent 25% of that money, $500 million. That is 25% of it to be around, let's see, 50% of $500 million. I mean, 25%. 10% of $500 million will be $500 million will be 50 million. 20% will be 100. Woo! Jesus Christ. 10%. That's 150 million was used for administrative cost. What were they buying? Were they buying like notebooks? You know, was it to buy laptops? What kind of administrative costs were they running? That was running to over 150 million. Jesus Christ! These people sound like Nigerian government. This is the kind of like robbery that Nigerian government engage in, where they will Jesus Christ, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing for not just embarrassing. It's not well. We all know about the whole BLM organization and how they were raising money to support Black lives, and every one of those funds we are using buying luxurious houses and all whatnot, and you know they were just sharing it amongst themselves and their family members. This is kind of like the same thing. It looks like NGOs are just criminal organizations. They're just thieves. You're just stealing from people, generous people who are generous and they want to support a cause. So they are donating to that cause and you're just taking the money and spending it. This is why I feel the whole thing is a scam. I have never been a huge fan of relief fund, charity organizations giving money for whatever cause it is they are giving it for, especially those ones that don't have oversight and don't have accountability, and we don't know what they do with the money. And if they do not give an account of it, they can able to keep running, and nobody will bring criminal charges against them for mishandling funds and all whatnot. Like, where is the investigation into the Red Cross? Especially the Red Cross in Haiti, and how they spent the money, the $500 million that they were able to raise, and now they are asking for another relief fund to help those in Hawaii, right? After the wildfire in Hawaii, And of course, when they raise that fund again, it's going to be used for only God knows what, and no account to be given. At this point, they should just just say, hey, there's a natural disaster. Do you want to make me rich? Give me the money in the name of solving this problem that this natural disaster have created. And that way you feel good about yourself for donating to a cause, and I will become rich. That's how they should just advertise it at this point, because the whole thing is now an obvious sham and nobody gives a damn. Right? You know. This is from Lil Bozy Bet. He said, the Clintons did the same too. It's best to not create fundraisers at all. If nothing is going to the people in need. Exactly. You raise all these funds. These organizations just exist to raise funds and then just waste it. Or will I say embezzle it? That's essentially what they do. We see them in Nigeria too. I can remember when I was in school. I'm ratting somebody out right now, but I'll go ahead and do it, because if this will lead to the investigation that needs to be conducted in regards to this, then then so be it. I had a lecturer who was like the head of an NGO, and they claimed that what they were doing was protecting consumer rights, and these people will receive money from foreign donors, right? You know, and these donors are paying to help consumers in Nigeria, protect their consumer rights. And this lady, who is a lecturer, the cover is that she's running this organization, and if you have dispute, let's say you buy a product and you were not satisfied, right, with the product you bought, then you meet the organization and they will help you, get, remedy damages, whatever it is, from the person you bought it from, or the company you did business with, whatever it is. And it turns out that the whole thing was just a scam. The organization is not functional. I have never seen them done anything. The lecturer talked about it once when we were in class then, and the way she was even talking about it, you just know the whole thing is a joke. It's a big joke. And she's being paid by big organizations to carry out this obvious scam. Right? And that's what NGOs are, essentially. That's what NGOs, they're just obvious scams that people just willingly, out of the generosity of their heart, out of benevolence, give to these organizations, thinking that they are solving a serious problem or whatever. And it just turns out that your money is just entering into a big hole, and none of it is getting to the people who actually need it, And another thing about these organizations is that they don't even want to create a permanent solution to whatever problem they claim to be solving, right? They don't want a permanent solution, because if a permanent solution exists and it is being implemented, then the organization will not be needed, they will not be relevant. And if they are not needed, they are not relevant. These organizations have staff. They employ so many people. Some people, this is their means of livelihood. So if this organization is no longer needed and has to close because the problem no longer exists, then so many people will be unemployed. Exactly. Those people who get 25% of $500 million. Those people who 25% of $500 million will be spent on. Now they will have to get an actual job. And because they don't want to do that, because that will be a nightmare for them, they will have to keep this whole problem continue. That problem will continue to exist because people need to feed. They are feeding off of the existence of a problem that they are hell-bent on not finding a permanent solution to. That is what NGOs are, essentially. And that is why I'm not a huge fan of them. NGOs, foreign aid, I am not. I am so, it's a waste of time and a waste of money and a huge scam. That is what it is. Somebody is asking, this is from John. He said, Frank, are there any influencers that you like or respect? People that I respect on social media, for the most part, are not influencers. If I call them influencers, they will not even I don't think they will appreciate the title. They are content creators that I respect, but I won't call them influencers, and I don't think they will even call themselves influencers. Yeah, there are some. There are. But let's continue. So here's an interesting story from the UK. I don't know if people are aware of it, but I want to get to the background of how the whole thing started. I'm looking for the news story so that we can get to the story from the beginning. Essentially, a comedy event was a venue. Let me not what's the word now? Will I say misrepresent the whole news story or make a serious mistake in reporting it, and just Google it and get an article that talks about it, and give you guys the full gist about it. Let me just Google cancelled comedy show in the UK. Okay, this is the news story by this all right, so this is the news story, but I want to get to one that covers the whole. Yep. Okay, so this is the story from how many days ago? I want to be sure it's the right one so that we can be sure. This is 15. Okay, this is the right one. So this is the news story. Let me zoom in so you guys can see it. Yeah. So it says Edinburgh ad venue aces Graham Linehan event after complaints. So he said an act venue in Edinburgh has cancelled an event featuring the gender-critical scriptwriter Graham Linehan after complaints from customer. This person, which often hosts queer and drag events, wrote on Instagram that he had cancelled a comedy listing where Linehan was due to appear on Thursday evening. In a post on Tuesday, the venue said, "We are an inclusive venue and this does not align with our overall value." This person said it had not been aware of the billing until being informed by customers. The decision rekindled the dispute over the legality of venue banning gender critical event, which erupts after another Edinburgh venue, The Stand, cancelled a speaking event for Joanne Sherry, a Scottish National Party PM. The Stand reinstates Cherry's event, which went ahead last week after she produced legal opinion warning the venue that it was unlawfully discriminating against her on the ground of her gender critical views. Courts in England have upheld similar cases involving such views. Linehan, who devised and wrote the hit Channel 4 comedy Father Ted, has taken a strongly gender-critical stance on social media. In a post on X, formerly Twitter, Linehan said neither he nor Comedy Unleashed, the production company that had booked the venue for the event, had received an explanation for the cancellation. There's no explanation as to what the views of the whatever these people are find offensive. He said, Could I have some details, because it sure sounds like discrimination on the ground of my legally protected beliefs. Linehan and Comedy Unleashed posted another statement that appeared to be from the venue's Instagram feed, but it is no longer online, in which the venue reportedly said it had been emailed about a comedian who had been booked for an upcoming comedy show this Thursday from rightly so outraged members of our community. Sherry posted her legal advice under Linehan's post and said, "This looks like a pretty clear case of unlawful discrimination because of a belief. But really, those in position of political and cultural leadership need to take a stand against these sort of things. Otherwise, Edinburgh, the home of the Enlightenment, is in danger of becoming a discrimination and anti-free speech hotspot." Online reporters have billed the comedy night as a fringe event, but it is not included in the official lineup. Okay. The venue has been approached for comments, and yeah, if we know how the whole approach for commenting goes, you know that it didn't go. Usually they've already written the article and about 5 minutes to posting it, then they ask you for comments. Anyway, so that's the story. Essentially, a comedy show was supposed to hold at a particular venue, and the venue cancelled because, according to them, the views of they don't support the views of one of the performer, one of the people who's going to perform in the event, and because of that, they cancelled the event. And it's kind of crazy. Like, why will you? And the funny thing is that they expressly stated that why they are doing it is because their values, so to speak, does not align with that of one of the speakers. This guy who goes by Graham Linehan. And anyway, the show continued, and it was held in front of the Scottish Parliament. This is the show going on, as you can see. Was holding in the in front of the Scottish Parliament. This is the venue they had. They ended up using because they rescheduled to a different venue, and that venue also cancelled their event and said they will not host them. And it's kind of crazy how a particular group, you know the people in those, you know who that group is. You know, like I call them the Alphabet Mafias, the Rainbow Warriors. You know, the Color Riot tyrants. It's funny how they can mobilize and pressure a business to reject someone's to do something or cancel someone or not, serve a particular person because of their political views. And I will tell you straight up right now that if a venue wants to do that, if a business is like, we are not going to serve you because of your political views, fine, right? Everybody have the right. I will say it. Everybody have the right. Every private business have the right to run their business however they seem fit. Now, I don't think it's advisable to do that because a particular fringe mob is pressuring you. That is bad for business. And the way I see it, some of these businesses are they pay so much allegiance to the views of this minority that they are willing to lose money for their sake. They are willing to lose money for the sake of this fringe minority because it does not reflect well on the venue. Does not at all in any way. There is no way this looks good. You understand? You're not going to serve a significant portion of the UK population. That's essentially what you are saying. Because I don't think a significant portion of the population is in disagreement with what Graham Linehan has said about the LGBTQIA plus community. This is popular opinion. There's nothing about any so-called now so-called far-right opinion that has to do with that talks about the trans movement is shared by a vast majority of the population. It's not fringe. People who say trans women are men or something like that, or trans women should not participate in women's sport or encroach into women's spaces, or the fact that some of the founders and leaders of this organization have ties with pedophiles or participate in pedophilic activities. People who say that it's not a far-right conspiracy or a far-right talking point or a disgusting view that like 70% of the population is outraged by. No, a huge portion of the population are in support of this, although they are often quiet and sometimes for the fear of the minority, the tyrannical minority, they often just keep quiet. But this is something that most people agree with, right? And because of a fringe minority, you are going to cancel somebody and you're not going to serve this customer base, this demographic who share these views and who buy this idea and who believe this idea and who espouse this idea. You're going to be like, no, we are not going to serve you. And you think it reflects well on your business and is going to make your business boom. Of course not. Obviously not. But you're going to do that anyway. And I believe every business should have that right. They should. And why I believe that is so that the day a church will say, we will not wed you because we do not support same-sex marriage, nobody is going to say that church has infringed on anything. The day a baker says, I will not bake this cake because it's going to be used for an LGBTQIA plus wedding or for an LGBTQIA plus gender reveal party, nobody is going to say, oh, can you imagine? I am all for it. Just be ready to receive it. If you are giving it, be ready to receive it. And of course, you know these people. They don't like the taste of their own medicine. They don't. That's the annoying thing about them, right? They don't like the taste of their own medicine. They want to dish out discrimination, but they cannot receive it. Everybody should have the right to discriminate as long as you are a private individual. That is my rule. But don't complain when that discrimination is against you. You know. And this is a super chat from Shop With Me. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Say, hi Frank, love your channel. What is today's video about? Is it a Q&A? No, it is not a Q&A. It's just me going through my Twitter feed. Essentially just going through things that I have reposted or commented on Twitter today. So you guys can see the reason why you should head on to Twitter and follow me on Twitter. I'm hoping that by the end of this month, I'll get to 1,000 followers on Twitter. Please, guys, make it happen. That is what this live stream is about. But it's just me going through headlines because I believe this is a news headlines and various popular news stories. That's what I'm doing today. And so that's Bobo. There's something else that I want to point out from this. Maybe I'll get to it later. So let me just keep going. I believe I'll get to it later. All right, this news story is very funny. This is a funny news story, and it's from Nigeria. And I want you guys to listen to this because it is funny. It's not a news story; it's just a video. It's just a video, but it was posted by a news organization in Nigeria, so I guess it's a news story. I don't know. If something is posted by a news organization in Nigeria, is that not a news story? I believe it is, but it's just a viral video in Nigeria that I think is very funny, and I want to share with you guys. So let's go ahead and watch it.
I'm blushing. Thank you very much, my baby girl. There's something I feel like they did not tell you people, and I feel like the part where, when they granted interview, they did not tell you people the part where they gang-beated me, right? I'm not hearing about such interview, and also they also, Ego never talk now. Ego have not said anything yet, But thank you very much, man. But they did not tell you people that they beated me to the point.
Guys, I just have to laugh.
That gang beated me to the point that I lost count of how many people laid hand on me. I feel like it was more than 6 people. That beating was too terrible. It was too brutal that my beauty left me and ran away. Till now, more than 1 week plus, I'm out. I'm still trying to recover my beauty. I've been on supplements. So many marks on my body. So many marks. I'm trying to recover myself. Because the beating I collected in that, I don't think I will ever collect such beating. I don't think it has never happened to me. I don't think it will ever happen to me again. Because that beating not be for human being.
Okay, I am very sure some of you are like, what is she talking about? She was arrested. I think she made a defamatory comment. It's kind of one of those crazy things that happen with the police, with the law in Nigeria, and with law enforcement in Nigeria, where she defamed somebody, a celebrity, and the celebrity got her locked up, which is something that happens in Nigeria. Now, this is something that should warrant at least a civil dispute, right? Why will you get somebody locked up? Why will somebody be arrested and put in prison because the person defamed someone? That's bad on its own. Because it's just bad. Why would that happen? But it happens all the time in Nigeria. People do it all the time, especially if someone is wealthy and has connection with the police. They can get the police to arrest you for something you said about them. Maybe you said something about them on social media or what have you. And they'll get the police to arrest you, keep you in detention for like a week or so. And when you're in detention, they might pay people in prison to beat you up, which is exactly what happened to her. I believe. And I don't know if now I don't know if the person who got her locked up was also the person responsible for, the gang beating that happened to her. But what is funny about this video is when she said that she said she was gang beaten. No, what is beaten? The past tense of beat is beat. Jesus Christ. You can imagine the level of education we receive in this country. I want to play that part again where she said gang beaten. Sorry, guys. It's just funny to me. I just want to hear it again.
Ego never talk now. Ego have not said anything yet. But thank you very much, man. But they did not tell you people that they beated me to the point that gang beated me to the point that I lost count of how many people laid hand on me. I feel like it was
yeah, they gang beated her. She was gang beaten, guys. It was a tragedy. It was a serious tragedy. Anyways, yeah, this is a video from
the books that have influenced
Milk Bar TV, and it's one of those juxtaposition videos, right? Where you put two clips together, and they're just two contrasting clips to show you a wonderful contrast. And I want you guys to watch this.
The largest number of other books are the canonical books. And the ultimate canonical book in the West is clearly the biblical corpus, because it's influenced virtually everything. And so you have to know it because it's implicit in everything else. And so you start there, and so you have that. You have that knowledge, at least to some degree. And it gives you the foundation, the metaphorical foundation, the conceptual foundation, the mythical foundation that you can use to then, well, maybe you can now Shakespeare opens up to some degree, and now Milton opens up to some degree, and Dante opens up to some degree. And you think, well, why should those open up? And the answer is, well, as the social constructionists claim, you're at least in part a historical creature. Well, then those books are about you. They're the patterns in those books are the patterns of your perceptions and your actions. And without understanding them, then you don't know who you are, and you can't guide yourself properly through life. This is canonical. Why? Because it's had a disproportionate influence on everything else. So there's something here that you need to know about, because it's about you. And it isn't about the you that's here now in some sense. It's about the you that can unfold across time in the best possible way. So each of those works is a call to adventure.
Reading books is a very cheap way to, I guess, entertain. I wouldn't call it entertainment because my brain is far too advanced. I'm too smart to read. I'm not gonna sit there and go, smart people read. No, I need action. I need constant chaos in my life to feel content. I need to be driving a supercar and fucking fighting, fucking a bunch of hoes and champagne and going crazy. I can't just sit there, oh, and the pirate on the boat. Like, it's for people with slow brains.
Well, you're just epistemologically ignorant beyond comprehension if you think that.
Yeah. And that's what people mean when they say Andrew Tate is a positive influence, I guess. That's the positive influence there. He doesn't read. He does, and it's obvious. It's glaring that he doesn't read. I don't know what he doesn't even need to say it. You can see that this person obviously doesn't read. And I don't know, it also reflects in his fan base. His fan base consists mainly of people who also, I'm not saying there are not people in his fan base who are not bookworms, or who are people who love to read, but I think for the most part, you can, with the level of thinking you find among the Tate fans, it's glaring that people, they've never picked a book up and read beyond the cover in their entire human existence. I don't think they've ever done anything like that. To think that reading books is, I need to listen to the nonsense he said. I need to be moving around. I need to be driving a fast car, sleeping with a bunch of ladies, doing things. I need to be active. That's how I am too smart to read. Yes. You can that's the level of intelligence you get from the top G, right? And there's something I said in response to this tweet that I want to talk about. I said, let me zoom in. I said, and then they complain that no one is speaking to young men. No, this is the condemnation that the light has come into the world and men love darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil. Now, if you are somebody who read, especially if you read the Bible, you know what I'm talking about. You know where this quote is from. This is from, I'm going to tell you where it's from. This is from, I think, John 3:19. John 3:19. Let's go there. Let me open that passage. John 3:19. And why I said that is because I feel we can go on for ages complaining that one of the problems with masculinity is that there are not enough people who are speaking to men in the language that they will understand to look like. Right? That's the accepted narrative when it comes to that's the standard narrative amongst those in the conservative space when it comes to the crisis of masculinity. All we hear is, oh, look, you see, there's a problem with masculinity. Nobody is speaking to men. And yet we have Ben Shapiro, we have Matt Walsh, we have Michael Knowles, we have Glenn Beck, sorry. We have so many prominent men out there. I mean, you have your local pastor. You have local leaders in your community who are doing great work. You have people around you, so many of them, who are doing great work, who are a good example of masculinity. You have fathers around you, maybe not yours, but maybe your friend's father, who is a very good role model. But none of that is appealing because you're not driving fast cars and sleeping with a bunch of women, right? Because the only thing that speaks to young men is depravity, right? Because that's essentially what you are saying when you say that there is no one out there speaking to young men other than Andrew Tate. You are saying the only thing that young men recognize and appreciate is somebody who is extremely morally depraved. That is what you are saying. Know it and know peace. Don't even try to be like, oh, no, that's not what that's exactly what you are saying, my friend. That is exactly what you are. And that is why I said the problem is that there is light in the world. There is so many beacon of light in the world. So many of it. There are so many lights on a hill in the world. So many of them. But the problem is that people love darkness. That is the real problem. That is the real problem of masculinity. Is that people love darkness. They don't want masculine heroes. They want masculine villains. That's what they want. I am tired of this excuse. I am so tired of the excuse. I am so tired of the excuse. Let me go to the scripture. I want one that will give me the full context of the scripture. I want something like this. And I like the New King James, guys. I love you. If you are a Christian and you want to know which Bible translation I like using, I like either the Old King James or the New King James. Either one works well for me because I like reading Bible and the things I'm reading sounds familiar with how I was reading them when I was growing up. Before I read it, let me highlight this super chat. Thank you, Banza. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name well or if I keep butchering it, but thank you so much. He said the same guy who says reading book is dumb also claims to be a Muslim. Tate must have got hit in the head too hard in his career. I don't know. Yeah. If you watch all those boxing matches that he was engaged in, he was really taking a lot of beating and a lot was really... Maybe it gave him brain damage. We never can tell. And he will not go for psychoanalysis because that's for weakling. He will not go check himself because, of course, those are what, weak men do. Strong men just soldier through it even though they are damaging their own body. You just go sleep with a bunch of women. STDs is what you get when you are a real man. A real man goes out there and get a bunch of STDs, okay? You sleep with a bunch of women, get a couple of STDs, and then you are a man. According to the doctrine of Andrew Tate, or the doctrine of the top G. All right, let me highlight the scripture and just read it before I go on for like 15 hours talking about top G. And let me start with the part of this scripture that many people know. This is John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have everlasting life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. He who believes in his Son is not condemned, but he who does not believe is condemned already, because he has not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. And this is the condemnation, that the light has come into the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. For everyone practices evil hates. For everyone practicing evil hates the light and does not come to the light, lest his deeds should be exposed. But he who loves the truth comes to the light, and his deeds may be clearly seen, that they have been done in God. And this is listen to what he was saying. So anybody who does not believe in Christ is condemned already. And this is the condemnation. What is that condemnation? That the light has come into the world, and men love darkness. Because when you see the light of God and you reject it, and you go after other things, the condemnation there is that you saw it and you prefer darkness. So when we see the crisis of masculinity, whatever it is in the West, and then of course there's always the temptation to blame it on feminism, like that's like conservative pastime activities. Just what can we pin on feminism? This is the product of feminism. And one of the questions I keep asking myself whenever they do that is, where were you? Where were you when this ideology was infiltrating every part of Western society? Where the hell were you? Were you just sitting back waiting for it to, blow up in everybody's face, and then you'll be like, well, you see, the solution has always been what I've been trying to help you guys practice. Really? Is that your solution to everything? I told you so. I told you so is your solution to everything? Come on. It's just pathetic at this point. I don't really understand the appeal and why people keep saying the nonsense that they keep saying. And one thing you know when you follow me is that most of the news stories I comment on is usually have to do with Andrew Tate. But here's something that doesn't have to do with Andrew Tate. And I think this exchange was interesting to see. And we are going to look at it.
Call. No.
Let me start it. Let me start it from the beginning.
Have you ever heard of the term nigga wake up call?
No.
It is an incident where a person of color forgets that they are of color and are reminded rather brutally by an unexpected act of racism. Have you ever had any of those?
Oh, brother.
I'm just asking. You think you've ever
Well,
had
I'm acutely aware, Charlamagne, that I'm a black person, just as you are a black person. And when Joe Biden insulted you by saying, you ain't really black, we don't know whether or not you want to vote for me or vote for Donald Trump, it seems to me that should have been a wake-up call on your part. How dare this guy come in here and insult you, a black man, and tell you got to think a certain kind of way.
Preach.
I'm amazed that you
preach, Larry Elder. Preach.
I'm not gonna say it upset me, just like I'm not letting you upset me. You know what I mean? I don't tend to get upset over things like that. But what I did say.
Well, you just not talk about a nigger wake-up call, and it seemed to me that should have been a wake-up call on your part to have a white guy come in here who also said, by the way, about Mitt Romney. Because he didn't want to put more regulations on Wall Street, going to put y'all back in chains. And Joe Biden has lied for decades about his civil rights record, claiming that he desegregated movie theaters and restaurants in Wilmington, Delaware, when he didn't do any of that. He lied and said that he tried to visit Nelson Mandela during apartheid South Africa. He did not. And he came in here and told you aren't even black and let you think a certain kind of way. It seemed to me that should have been a nigga wake-up call for you, but it wasn't, apparently.
Yeah, for the record, I'm not a Democrat or Republican.
I didn't say you were.
I think both.
I don't know what you are. I never even asked you about your party affiliation. Yeah, I'm just saying, but you are black.
And
I mean, Charlamagne the God is sometimes, in my opinion, most times he just says a bunch of nonsense. Honestly, I feel he just says a whole bunch of nonsense. A whole bunch of nonsense. Some of his questions are just ridiculous, to say the least. Was it not on his show that Hillary Clinton came and said she had hot sauce in her bag? Wasn't that supposed to be his nigger wake-up call? Was that not supposed to be his nigger wake-up call? Was it not on his show that Kamala Harris said that she listened to Tupac when she was in college or something, and those were factually inaccurate statements that it does not correlate with the factual reality of when Tupac was popular and when she was in school, and how she said she would listen to Tupac while she was smoking weed. I mean, was that not supposed to be another, Negro wake-up call for him? But he's going to talk about Larry because Larry Elder lean, right, has this right-wing leaning. He leans conservative and will consider himself a Republican, maybe probably a registered Republican, and therefore when he comes around, we are going to talk to him about a Negro wake-up call. Has he ever asked this question to his friends and those who come on his podcast who are Democrat supporters, who are Democrat voters, which is like 95% of the people who he interviews and talks about politics with, the black ones? Oh, when you were rolling with your Democrat friends, did you ever experience racism? What has he ever asked those questions to his Democrat friends that he interviewed? I think this question is so ridiculous, and I love it. It's masterful the way Larry Elder handled it. It reminded him, was it not you? Was it not you who Joe Biden? You were interviewing Joe Biden, and he said, if you don't know if you are for me or for Trump, then you went black. He said that, and you did not say anything. There was no clap back, nothing. It wasn't your Negro wake-up call. And then he's going to sit there and say, "Oh, well, I am not a Democrat. Of course, I am not a Democrat. Really, please. Of course, you're not a Democrat. In words only." Jesus
And to
Christ.
have a white guy come in here and tell you have to say, think.
So I hate this idea in the West, that especially what I see in the West, where I see black people feel they have this they owe an allegiance to Democrats. Like, of all people, Democrats, of all organization, of all political organization that exist in America, Democrats are the ones you feel you owe allegiance to. Democrats, despite the history. This is the party that founded the KKK. These people, black people, like to go back to the past to bring up things that happened in 20 AD. But yeah, this is something that is recent, 50, 60 years ago. Joe Biden's friends were members of the KKK. It didn't matter to any of them. And you're going to ask this kind of... what was my response to this tweet? I said, this is insulting. As in, yeah, that's what I said. The question, that question was insulting. And as always, Charlamagne the God got exposed for his lack of self-awareness. Exactly. The guy really lacks self-awareness, and the way he talks about things are just like, if he can just keep quiet and just like shut the hell up. Well, of course, he's going to talk about politics, and so he feels, I'm going to ask this ridiculous question. What did he think he was going to achieve here? This is me, my got you. I hate, and this is one thing I hate about interviews, especially interviews like this. They're supposed to be cordial. This is not a freaking debate, and even if it's a debate, whatever it is, you are having an interview with somebody. You trying to understand the person's position and maybe learn something from the person. And of course, I'm not saying every interview should be you like Candace Owens, Andrew Tate kind of interview where you're just massaging the person, and giving the person what can be the equivalent of a blowjob. Of course, you shouldn't do that. You should ask hard-hitting questions when you have to. But don't aim. The aim of an interview is not to get a got you moment, a moment where you humiliate your guest. You want to learn. Yeah, if it can happen unplanned. Like, okay, this is the question I'm going to ask him. I don't know how this will go, but I think it's an important question that people who are viewing this will want to know. But to ask this kind of question, this is just an insult. This is an insult. You are essentially saying to Larry Elder that you are talking like somebody who is not aware that they are black. That's just insulting. But of course, these days what we see in the media are very incompetent, ridiculously stupid people. And somehow those are people that everybody wants to watch. Make me sometimes consider maybe I should switch tactics. Maybe I should start sounding stupid. Maybe I'll get like 600 followers by tomorrow. 600,000 subscribers by tomorrow. It's tempting. I must admit, it's really tempting to see how prominent stupidity has become on social media. It's really, I'll be honest with you. Now let us go to something that is pretty controversial because it has to do with religion, and especially the religion of maximum peace, optimum, maximum, abundant peace. Please let the record reflect that before we started watching this video, I stated expressly that this is about a religion that is extremely peaceful to a fault, my ladies and gentlemen. So please, join me as we react to this very amazing video.
Okay, so what's the proper counter argument to...
So he's talking about the proper counter argument to Aisha. That is yeah, right. Let's hear it from his mouth, please. Let me not put words in the mouth of the great Muslims. Is one of the greatest Islamic scholars in the West. Okay, so let's listen to him.
Okay, so what's the proper counter argument to these people who want to accuse the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam of some kind of misbehavior because of his marriage to Aisha, radiallahu anha, and they want to compare it to now? Okay. So there are a number of responses to this.
They call it child pedophilia. Is there adult pedophilia? I don't know. What do you mean by is that how it is being called, child pedophilia? It's pedophilia. There's no other variation. There's no adult pedophilia, ladies and gentlemen.
Number one, Aisha radiallahu anha was mature. She was physically mature at age 9, and that's very different than people who want to molest little kids in the closet. Okay? That's not the same as marrying someone who is physically mature. As soon as a girl is going through maturity,
Please help me understand what this our Islamic sage is saying. I really want to understand what this citadel of wisdom just said. I really want to understand. He said, getting married to someone who is 9 years old is not the same as molesting a 9-year-old child in the closet. And he doesn't even, what's the difference? What exactly is the difference? And he said a 9-year-old girl, not my words, his words, please. Let nobody say I said. His words is that a 9-year-old girl is physically matured. Please, I want to, I'm not an Islamic scholar. I'm not versed in the Quran, but I want to know, is this what the Quran teaches? That a 9-year-old girl is physically matured, and marrying a 9-year-old girl, consummating your marriage, which I believe is what the Prophet did, with a 9-year-old girl, is not the same as molesting a 9-year-old girl. What exactly is the difference? What exactly is the difference? Jesus Christ. If there are any Muslims in the chat, please explain to me. I'm open to learning right now. I want to learn. Before that, let me just highlight a super chat here. Thank you, Lil Boozy Bet. You are you're the one who is keeping the lights on this channel. Thank you so much for the super chat. You said, it is funny how white US liberals assume I'm a Democrat just because I'm black. LOL, if they only knew. I met a lot of down low black non-partisans too. Yeah. I won't even say as a black person, as an individual, whoever you are, I will not advocate to be loyal to any party whatsoever. I'd be loyal to a party that has your interest at heart. If you see this party is a party that will secure your interest, whatever those interests are, go for that political party. Go for that group. You owe nobody 100% allegiance. They should owe you an allegiance. They should want to serve you. That's what politicians are there to do. Serve you, represent you. Look for the ones that actually represent you. Don't feel because of I look a particular way, I belong to a particular group, whatsoever that group is. Therefore, I must support a particular thing. No. Always seek to break the mold. Be different. Be you. Be unique. Stand out. Be yourself. Have your own unique voice. I cannot say it enough, as I cannot repeat it enough. It is important in today's in this day and age that we need to repeat this. You are unique. You should remain unique. You should hold unique views as much as you can. Whether it leans left, leans right, leans center, wherever the view you want to fall in, as long as this is something that you strongly believe to be true, it doesn't make you a conservative, it doesn't make you a liberal, it doesn't make you Republican, it doesn't make you Democrat, it makes you a human being. That is what you are. You are not a color. You are not an elephant symbol or a donkey symbol. You're not any of those, you know. Most of them, for the most part, do not 100%. None of these groups can 100% represent you. You need to understand that, especially those who show this blind loyalty to whatever group or tribe, political tribe they claim to belong to. None of them represent you 100%. They are not supposed to represent you 100%. And you should not be hesitant to deviate from them when it comes to the crossroad where you are to deviate from them. Please deviate. Say, I agree with most of the things these people say, but in this part, I don't agree. Even if they mock you, they say, you know, that shows that you are not one of us. Fine, I am not one of you. Good. You know. Anyways, but that's by the way. So back to the whole pedophilia and the child marriage and Aisha being matured at 9 years old. I want to know, is this what the Quran teaches, or is this guy? I believe this is a remarkable, renowned Islamic scholar. So I don't know how he will be wrong. I believe he's right. Maybe. Tell me, am I looking at somebody who is ignorant, who doesn't know what he's talking about? Because obviously what he's saying here is that a female child of 9 years is physically matured. Keep that in mind. And I want you guys to know something. In Nigeria here, there are places where children as young as 9 are getting married to people who are 40, 50, 60 years of age. And many of them get pregnant at that young age. And it is often I'm not saying at a young age of 9, but at a very young. And it's often devastating for them. Some of them develop medical complications as a result. And the person whom they are married to does not care. It happens in this country. And people who practice such belong to a certain religion. Use your tongue to count your teeth. Connect the dots. I won't spell everything out for you. Let's continue.
And her physical body is changing, then she is ready for that type of relationship of marriage. And that's when every society encouraged and sanctioned marriage. So you can look at the records, the average.
What is he saying? Every society sanctioned. Probably he's talking about in the past, because the way he talks about sanctions as if it is a present continuous. Every society sanctions. I don't think it's sanctioned everywhere in today, in this modern time that we live in. Okay? But he said that every society, and I believe what he's trying to say is that every society sanctioned 9-year-old bride. Really? Every society sanctioned 9-year-old bride? In the past, every one of them did? And isn't Islam supposed to be isn't religion, especially a religion like Islam, supposed to be a religion that preaches wisdom that is God. This is overwhelming for me. Like when I saw this, I was like, this does not even make. Like, where do I begin? Where do I begin with this? Like, his defense for it is so weak. It doesn't make sense. First of all, not every society sanctions 9-year-old brides. Not every one of them. And any society who did that, that society was wrong. There are so many things we did in the past. We had slaves in the past. Are you going to say, oh, because we had slaves in the past, therefore slavery is good? No. And yet here he is, justifying something by claiming that it is okay and that every society who sanctioned this in the past, we are doing so correctly. That's essentially what he's saying in essence. God help us. God help us. This is from Serif from Australia. Thank you so much for the $20 Australian dollar. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in from Australia. I guess this is morning in Australia. It's also morning here in Nigeria. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And let me see if those in the comments are giving me an explanation. And I guess this person here is replying to Lil Boozy Bet. Say Islam is not being manipulated at all. You can find everything Hakikachu said in the scripture. In which scripture? Is it the Islamic scripture? Or please specify. Is it in the Islamic scripture? So everything he's saying is scriptural according to Islam. Wow, just give me some quotations so that when I agree with you, people would see that I am not. Give me a quotation in the Quran. That I can look up here. Let it not be said that I brought it up on my own. My people in the chat suggested it and we looked at it before I'll be accused of blasphemy or something. You never can tell at what point you say something that will be considered blasphemy. And Pickup said, yes, Quran and Hadiths affirm child marriage. Let me do my own little investigation, right? Give me a moment, guys. Let's see. Child marriage in the Quran. Child marriage in the Quran. It said there is no minimum age for marriage specified in the Quran or Hadith, but there are references that call for an individual to reach the age of psychological. Give me the scripture. Stop telling me stories. Child marriage. The subject of child marriage is per se never arises in the Quran. That's what they are saying here. That it never arises in the Quran. How true is that? Okay, this one seems to provide a scripture. Okay, so this is a. I don't know how to pronounce this. Let me zoom it in so you guys can see. Let's zoom in again. Oh no! Roll the mouse correctly, young man. And I said, can you just give? Okay, let's just read the whole article. This is from what's now this website here? This is from Faith in Allah. Faith in Allah. And then the article said, does chapter 64 verse 4 encourage child marriage? In the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful. Child marriage is an important issue for Muslims in the modern period, as social customs have drastically changed over the last few hundred years. People in pre-modern society sometimes thought of the practice as harmless, even beneficial in some contexts, but are child marriages encouraged by Islam? Anti-Muslim writers point to a verse of the Quran to argue that Islam not only encourages child marriage, but also allows sex between adults and children. Even some wayward Muslims, eager to reject Western social customs altogether, shamefully advocate for child marriages, despite compelling evidence that it harms children in the modern context. What is this guy saying? Child marriage harms children. What is the writer of this article saying? Child marriage harms children in the modern context. Is there a context where child marriage does not harm a child? In what context? What do people? I don't even understand what they mean by. There's some things people say in articles that are just outrageous. In every context, it is harmful. Even when it was being practiced, it was harmful. It was not beneficial. There's no benefit to it. It is harmful. When we didn't know, it's just like in Nigeria when we didn't know better and we thought sickle cell anemia was Obanje, and you're like, oh, in time past when we treated children who had Obanje like they were being possessed, it was beneficial. But now in modern context, treating children with sickle cell as people who are possessed by an evil spirit is no longer beneficial under modern context. What even in ancient context, it was not beneficial. It was barbaric, it was backwards, it was not helpful. It's the same thing with child marriage. Under no circumstance is it beneficial for anyone. It is not beneficial to have sex with an 8-year-old, to marry a 9-year-old rather, to marry a 9-year-old, have sex with a 9-year-old, like they do in some part of this country currently. Under no context is it beneficial. And yet this article cannot outrightly condemn it. Instead, it has to say in modern context. Really? I guess you can okay, let's keep reading. Upon examination, we find that both of them, as in their particular habits, read into the verse what it does not say. So he's saying both critics of Islam and those who vehemently advocate for child marriage, who are Muslims, who are wayward Muslims, like the article called them, that both of them are wrong because they misread this verse of the Quran. And this is what Allah said. He said, those who no longer expect menstruation among your women, if you doubt, then their waiting period is 3 months. And also for those who have not menstruated. I guess this verse, I think I've heard somewhere that this verse have to do with divorce. So it's talking about waiting period for the women who have been divorced before they can get married again, I guess. And the waiting period for women who are experiencing menopause, and also for women who have not menstruated, that is prepubescent girls. The waiting period for them is 3 months. I mean, from this, it is clear indication that the Quran supports marriage of people getting married, prepubescent girls getting married. Based on this scripture, I think it is pretty evident. But let's see how this article explains this verse. This verse refers to the waiting period until remarriage for divorced women, who are by definition adults. It does not use the word for children or prepubescent girls. Yes, it does not use the word. It does not use that word, but it obviously implies it. I mean, for those who have not menstruated, how do you interpret for those who have not menstruated if you don't say that refers to people who are yet to see their menstrual, flow, and that by implication, prepubescent girls. It's like saying, I say those who are not men are stupid, and you're like, and then somebody's like, he said women are stupid, and you're like, no, he did not say women are stupid. He said those who are not men are stupid. Yeah, that's women. That is obviously women. So that was like the difference between 6 and half a dozen. It does not use the word children or prepubescent girls. The verse merely delivers a practical rule for determining the waiting period for any divorced woman who, for whatever reason, does not menstruate. Really? You say a woman might not menstruate for several reasons because she's too old to menstruate or has a physical disability that prevents or delays ordinary menstrual cycle. As such, the verse covers all of these cases in a general sense. That's a nice spin. But I don't think you can say this verse is talking about women who women who are seeing their menopause, because here it said those who no longer expect menstruation. So it's talking about women in menopause. This obviously refers to women in menopause. And then this one then says, then if you doubt their way, okay, and also for those, he said, and also for those who have not menstruated. So this is mentioning those who are experiencing menopause, and this here is mentioning those who have not menstruated, obviously. So is this okay? If that is the spin you are going with, okay. They say scholars also interpret the verse to apply to a marriage to a child that has been contracted but not consummated. Okay, such arranged marriage to young women were ordinary in pre-modern world. So it is expected that jurists would have developed rules for them. It does not make sense. Why is the waiting period in existence in the first place? I understand what you're trying to say here is that, you got married to somebody, to a lady who is prepubescent, but the marriage has not been consummated. So if you divorce the prepubescent girl that you got married to, then you still have to wait for 3 months. It does not make sense, because I believe the reason why there's a waiting period of 3 months is to ensure that the person is not pregnant, right? And if you are to ensure that this person is not pregnant, if you are in doubt, right, to ensure that this person is not pregnant and with your child, the waiting period is 3 months. Why will you be worried if somebody is pregnant and is not with your child? Is only because you slept with the person. Anyway, I don't understand. But they make a pretty compelling case if you... well, I'm ignorant, so I will let it slide. Let me see what people are saying over here. It said, child marriage is not common in Islam these days, but cousin marriage is. Western Muslims probably do not practice child marriage, but Muslims in Nigeria do. I will say it out. Let me spell it out for each and every one of you in case you didn't know who I was referring. Muslims in Nigeria do. I'm saying it now, and it's true. Child marriage in Nigeria is a real thing, and it's being practiced by Muslims in the country. Okay? And I don't think there's anything in their religion discouraging them from doing that. None of them get sanctioned by their religious leaders. They are not called to order or whatever. It's not seen as haram, like Muslims like to say. So no. And Rodney say, Pikapi, you stay where you are in your own country with your backward ideas. I don't know what you guys are talking about. So, well, this article, but so according to this article, then Daniel Hakikachu is wrong, right? Am I missing something? Right? But let's keep listening to him.
Age of marriage in Roman society, it was 13, 12 or 13. You can look at...
Yeah. If it was 12 or 13, 12 or 13 is not 9. 12 or 13 is bad. It's still bad. Everybody today is going to say it's wrong. Nobody's going to be like, oh, well, because it happened then it is good, and therefore it is okay now. It's wrong. It's still wrong. We can all condemn each and every one of those such practices as something that happened in the past that is problematic, that is wrong. You don't have to bring that up and make it just use it to justify something and be like, oh yeah, the prophet who I believe you guys hold to be perfect, right? A model example for every Muslim to follow, right? He's your model. He's your example of what your God wants you to the kind of life your God wants you to live, right? And he did such a thing. He got married to he got married to a girl at the age of 6 and consummated the marriage at 9. And you are justifying such practice today based on the fact that it was done in the past. I mean, so many horrendous things we have done in the past that we don't do now. We cannot justify terrible things by saying, oh, we can still do it now because we used to do it. No, they were terrible. Child marriage was terrible. Even in Africa, yes, we did it in the past. Child brides were a thing in the past. But nobody here is advocating for it today, claiming, oh, if we did it in the past, then we did so many horrible things in the past. In the past, we didn't even wear clothes. Should we continue not to wear clothes because, hey, Africans didn't wear clothes, right? Come on. Get serious.
Chinese society. You can look at any kind of African society. It's all around that age. These kids, what are they doing now? These children, or these minors, these girls, they're going through puberty at age 9. They're getting a boyfriend. They're engaging in all kinds of sexual behaviors at their schools, with their teachers or whatever, in zina. This is a myth. Again, an image.
What is he saying? Jesus Christ. Guys, you can see the kind of the foolery that I see on social media every day, especially from Americans. Like, what nonsense is this guy saying? Is he saying their child marriage is justified because if these girls don't get married at the age of 9, then they engage in deviant sexual behavior, they get boyfriends, they become promiscuous, and the solution to female promiscuity is to early marriage? Two things are wrong. Does not that you do not replace one wrong with another wrong and be like, oh yeah, you see these girls are becoming deviants. My God, the solution is to get them pregnant and married at the age of 9. The solution to this deviant behavior that we see among girls is to get them married early. Really? Are you serious? That is the solution? Oh, you don't want a 9-year-old to have a boyfriend. So instead of her not having a boyfriend, the solution is that she's going to get a husband who is 49 years old. That is the solution to female promiscuity according to this guy. Are you serious right now? Like, are you for real? Wow. This is what passes for a religious scholar. And he obviously, people are gathered listening to him. Like, it's not like he's talking to an audience of zero, of nobody. There are people who pay attention to this guy and believe that, this guy is speaking truth. Really, the solution to early promiscuity among girls, young girls, is to get them married to people who are older, 30, 40, 50. So the solution to promiscuity amongst young adults and teenagers is a pedophilia. We are going to take one wrong thing away and we are going to replace it with. You see, this is how the devil works. This is how the devil works. You see, there's something called substitution. That is how Satan behaves. Satan replaces one evil with another evil. God, the way forces of good, not forces of good, right? The way, let me just use it. Let me say it the way I want to say it, and not try to appeal to every religion or to everyone, especially those who are not religious. Probably some of them are in the chat, but this is what I strongly believe: that how God works is He replaces evil with good. Right? He uproots evil, and in place of evil, it puts in place good. Right? That's why you see in scripture, let him that stole steal no more. But be generous. That's, you take away something, an evil act, and you place it with a good act. The scripture, when you read the New Testament, you see the apostles, you see Jesus call believers to a higher way of living. Does not say, oh, because you are doing one wrong thing, replace it with another wrong thing. But that's exactly how the devil operates. The devil takes one wrong thing. Say, don't do this wrong thing. This wrong thing is so bad. It's so bad, guys. Don't do it. Instead, do this other wrong thing. And that's what you see in the West today, because I believe the devil is in full swing in the West. He's in full swing everywhere. But the way the West is a good example for everyone to learn from. Right? You take away feminism and you replace it with Andrew Tate. You take away early promiscuity amongst women and girls and you replace it with pedophilia. That's how the devil operates. And he comes and tells you that is a solution. I'm giving you a solution. No, you're not giving anybody a solution. You are replacing one evil with another evil. I think I've dwelt too long on this matter. I don't know if I should continue reading, but let me just look at the chats. This is from Roseanne Hayden. He said, is he for real? Obviously he is. Girls at 9 are playing with Barbies having a pretend family. But for him, no, they should have an actual family. That according to him, that's what they should be doing right now. They should be having actual families. That is the solution to them. If you don't want them to be promiscuous, get them married. Chastity is not something you should teach them.
sexual purity. No, it's not something they should aspire towards. Instead, they should get married at an early age to a 95-year-old man, if possible. That is what is the solution. Scar them for life with this kind of nonsense. That's just profound, I guess. And this is what Lil Buzibet said. That also sounds like how overbearing government works. Strip the parents of their power in order to gain access to the new generation. Exactly. It's also how the government... That is why I feel some government in the world are just satanic. They come to you and say, you have this problem. We have a solution. We are going to give you... No, they don't come with any solution. They just replace the problem with another problem. And when you realize that their replacement is another problem, they tell you, we have another solution. And what they do is that they take that problem and give you another problem. They're just bringing one. They're just replacing problems. That's essentially what they are doing. Replacing problems. And for some people, they'll be like, do you see the wonderful solution the government just provided for us? Yeah, of course they did. They provided you with a remarkable solution. And some people are so stupid to swallow the whole thing hook, line, and sinker. They believe that, this is how it should go. I'm like, no. They're not providing any solution. Look at what they are doing. It's called the substitution method. You take one and replace. You take one evil and replace it with another evil. But because it has a different name and wears a different face, you're like, okay, this is a solution. It's not. It's not. Be smart. At this point, we should be smart enough to see through this nonsense. Okay? The solution to feminism is not Andrew Tate. You are replacing one problem with another problem. Like there's people who replace extreme leftism with like Hitler loving, kill the Jews, back to segregation type alt-right rubbish. That is what they feel is the solution. Like we are going to take fascism on the left and replace it with Nazism on the right. I'm like, no, you're doing is a crazy substitution method. Let's finish this video. Let's see what other wonderful nugget of wisdom we can get from the supreme sage Daniel Hakikachu. I believe that's his name.
A 9-year-old is like a little toddler. No, a 9-year-old who has gone through puberty is not a toddler. And you can go to the public schools and they're sexually active. And this is the reality of...
Are you guys listening to this? To this wonderful creature, this epitome of supreme Islamic wisdom. Like what? Let me play it back again in case some of you did not get it.
In zina, this is a myth. Again, an image that's, a 9-year-old is like a little toddler. No, a 9-year-old who has gone through puberty is not a toddler. And you can go to the public schools and they're sexually active. And this is the reality of the modern West, because they've abolished this idea of minor marriage. They've abolished this idea that when you are puberty, your body is mature. Your body has certain desires, and those desires are fulfilled through marriage. That is a beautiful institution, a halal, beautiful institution that every culture has had, every religion has sanctioned, has approved of. It's only abolished. Why? Because they want to spread zina.
Can you believe this human being? He said it is a myth that a 9-year-old is a toddler. Islam, ladies and gentlemen, I have no more comments. Jesus Christ. He said that it is a myth that 9-year-olds are toddlers. I want to know. According to Daniel Hakikachu, should boys who have experienced puberty, should those boys also get married? I mean, they have sexual desires, 13, 14-year-old. I mean, are they not the ones that are committing fornication in the West? Should they get married, Daniel? Is that what you are advocating for? Child parents? This is great. Anyways, let's listen to something refreshing. Let's listen to something something way better, more intelligent
on you
than the nonsense.
to revive this country.
Let's rinse our brain with. Let's just rid our mind of the intellectual corruption we just consumed with something refreshing. And this is from Vivek Ramaswamy. He's He's a Republican candidate for president. He's a presidential Republican. He's a Republican presidential candidate, or presidential Republican candidate. How does it go? Republican presidential hopeful. Yeah, that's the word they usually use in the news. So that's who he is. And let's listen to him and listen to what he has to say. I believe this is very refreshing and will help us move on. Move on from the nonsense we just watched, believing that there is still hope in humanity and there's still some sanity we can find on social media and we can find amongst human beings.
Something about me, all right? You are not going to see me here bashing the other good people who are running in this race. These are our colleagues. I'm going to depend on each of them just as I depend on you to revive this country. But we do face a choice in this primary. The choice is this. Do you want incremental reform, or do you want revolution? I stand on the side of revolution. I stand on the side of the American Revolution, that we the people create a government that is accountable to us, not the other way around. That we the people require a government that tells us the truth about where COVID-19 came from, the truth about that Hunter Biden laptop, the truth about vaccine mandates, school closures, the truth about the Nashville shooter manifesto, the truth about what's happening in our country today. That is what this campaign is about. We stand for the truth. I speak that truth without apology. God is real. There are two genders.
Amen.
Fossil fuels are a requirement for human prosperity.
Preach.
Reverse racism is racism.
Preach.
An open border is not a border.
Exactly.
Parents determine the education of their children.
They should.
The nuclear family is the greatest form of governance known to mankind.
Hey, see, this very last one. We are going to continue, but this one he just said is one of the things that make the Igbo tribe in Nigeria a force to reckon with. The Igbo community before colonialism was built on the structure that the greatest form of government in a society is the family unit. Like my dad, I remember he would say it over and over again that Igbos believe that the head, the most powerful person in your life is your father. That is a strong Igbo belief, and that the primary group that you owe supreme responsibility to is your family before any other person. And that's how Igbos have operated for centuries. And it's one of the we have so many problems in Igbo culture, but this is not one of them. They believe that your loyalty should start and begin first with your family. It's one of the things that I'm proud of as an Igbo person. And when he said that, I was like, yes, the nuclear family is the strongest form of government. It should be. It should be. And that is very important. That is very important. It cannot be overemphasized. It's very important. Anything that tries to destroy that should be tackled forcefully. The primary enemy of any society is anything that tries to disrupt the nuclear family. Anything whatsoever that tries to disrupt the nuclear family is a great enemy to any society. And I agree with him 100%. Let's continue listening. And also what he said about fossil fuel. It is necessary. It's one of the greatest form of energy that we've ever discovered as a human race. For us to give that up and say, oh, because of some the climate change that we cannot really tell what is causing it. Is it human? Is it human created? Can we really? Are we not really being pompous and thinking highly of ourselves to think we can change the natural order of things? Can we have that conversation? Okay, before we let go of fossil fuel, can we find a better alternative, a more sustainable, reliable alternative? These are practical, reasonable, based on reality statements that we should all operate with in the world today. It is not controversial. It is not being edgy. It is not being extreme in any way. These are basic truths that we should all agree upon. But unfortunately, that is not the case.
Capitalism lifts us up from poverty. There are 3 branches of government, not 4. And the U.S. Constitution, it is the strongest guarantor of freedom in human history. That is the truth.
It is. It is. It is. And one way to know that this is true is that many countries have tried to model their constitution after the U.S. Constitution, including my country, even though they do a very terrible job at it. But that has been the inspiration. And this is very refreshing. This is the kind of message I love to say every time I tune on, every time I come online. But unfortunately, that's not what I'm greeted with. Mostly something absolutely ridiculous. And we move on. All right, this is another funny clip that I saw on social media, and let me see. Okay, we are going to look at that, and then we are going to look at this clip over here. And after that, we are going to look at this one. So we'll just look at 3 clips, and we may most likely call it a day. I know I promised to react to the whatever podcast stuff about the lady who had sex with who has a body count with or has a body count of 130 plus. Yes. I did promise reacting to that, but I don't know. Let's see how it goes anyway. Let's see how it goes. Maybe we'll look at that. Maybe we wouldn't. Who knows? Maybe. I don't know if I want to be that one of those people who do 8-hour live stream. I don't know if I have what it takes to do that, but let's see. Anyways, let's react. Let's watch this. I saw this and it was very funny. There are a couple of things that the guy said and I consider it very, very funny. Let me shout out. Let me do a shout out to this guy. His name is Elliot Steele. I don't know much about the guy, but I really love this video that he made. And yeah, Elliot Steele on Twitter. If you know the guy, yeah, I saw his video and I thought it was cool, and I retweeted it. I even have a quote under the retweet. So yeah, let's just get into the video.
for Andrew Tate, and I did not speak up because it was hilarious. Tate has been taken down by a 19-year-old girl. And no, not Greta Thunberg, but by the 19-year-olds he has tied up in his basement. And before all his dweeb fans arrive in my comments, what colour's your Bugatti? Let me extend an olive branch. Masculinity is confusing at the moment. One half of my timeline is telling me to be like Harry Styles and wear a dress, and the other half wants me to go and fight in Ukraine and die like a man. But his
and what he just said is the real problem of, I think, is the real problem of masculinity in the West. The real problem of masculinity is not that on one end there is Harry Styles telling you how to be a man, and on the other end there's another set of people telling you how to be a man. The real problem is that you are hearing about how to be a man from the internet. That's where people are learning the important lesson of how to be a man, from internet influencers and musicians and people in the media. That is where you get your message about masculinity. That is, for me, that is the real problem, or one of it. We can talk about, there are many others. I won't claim that this is the sole problem, but this is one of them. That people are learning how to be men from influencers. Those are people that are teaching young people how to be men. And people will say, oh, it's because they don't have real masculine examples in real life. It's a lie. That is not true. The reason why they are learning how to be men from influencers is because they live online. They spend most of their lives online. 95% of their existence is being controlled by zeros and ones. That is the real problem. We can talk about all the, look at what the anti-masculine messages that are out there. Oh, how disruptive and destructive it is, and how it kills the morale of the average Western man. And I'm not saying it doesn't do that, but I'm just saying, so where do you find solace? From an influencer on social media? That is where you find the positive message. And I'm not saying that there are no people online who offer real, good, helpful advice, but I'm saying that you having to depend on them is a problem. It's a very big problem. That you don't have a real life example of masculinity around you is a major problem. And that is something that we should be talking about. Why is that the case? And maybe it's because young people should not be exposed to social media. The Tate fans are 12, 13, 14-year-olds. Why do they have this level of access to social media? They are listening to things from Andrew Tate that their parents have no idea of. Some of the things they are hearing, their parents are clueless about. They will be shocked and horrified to hear the things that are being their children is feeding on and feasting on when they turn on their phones. Why can't the parents of these children take charge of their children's life and not give them over to strangers on the internet who will exploit them and feed them nonsense? Can we talk about that? Can we talk about the fact that it shouldn't be allowed? I am of the opinion that it shouldn't be allowed. It shouldn't be lawful for people under the age of 18 to own a smartphone. Maybe we should bring it down to 16, but I would say 18. To own a smartphone. And have so unlimited access to the internet, where you see these people, they barely look up. They barely look up. They are looking down. Every time you see them, they are looking down at a black screen, or they are locked up in their room with 7 more black screens in front of them. That is their constant preoccupation. That is the real problem. That is what we should be addressing.
Fans are acting like his arrest is part of some sort of CIA conspiracy theory because he was speaking too much truth.
Women are fucking stupid.
Gentlemen, We need to do something about this man that manages Romanian women's OnlyFans. Any ideas on how to take down this enemy of the state? Maybe we could say he's a human trafficker. His fans are too smart and might see through this obvious ploy to bring down a man who makes daily misogynistic videos about this very subject. The CIA really lacks ambition if they're now going for Tate. They assassinated JFK for wanting to expose secret societies. Jeffrey Epstein was killed for having dirt on every world leader and all of the royal family. And now they're going for the co-owner.
Exactly. All the people that this so-called deep state has gone after are real threats to the established. These are people that have debts on major politicians, people who want to expose secret organization. And what is Andrew Tate exposing? A made-up fictional organization known as the Matrix. That is what he's exposing. That is his grand exposure. Andrew Tate exposes the Matrix by talking in unclear, uncertain terms about a movie and how that movie somehow has some resemblance or relevance in today's world. A movie that was made that was made by two transgenders, by the way. And those people later came out to talk about the fact that that movie was actually about transgenderism and how not being transgender is you, how taking the red pill has to do with, rejecting social stereotypes and norms that have to do with gender and the idea that there are only two genders and that that gender and sex are the same thing. That is what that movie is about. But Andrew Tate took it and made it into this grand, you have to be really stupid for you to understand the world with such a simplistic, stupid mindset, unrealistic, unexplainable, fictional explanation for the evil in the world by calling it the Matrix. You have to be thinking in basic, as in you are somebody whose thinking has not exceeded basic arithmetics. That is how simple-minded you must be to really swallow this Matrix nonsense.
Of Hustlers University. See, Tate's a real-life Tyler Durden. He galvanizes downtrodden men and is now leading them towards fascism, because that's what Fight Club is actually about. It's a critique on what happens to men in society when they feel they've got nowhere to go. Although some of you seem to have missed that point and have taken it as a manifesto to actually live your life by. It's the same with the Matrix that Tate's always banging on about as some sort of thing that's forced on us by the elites through LGBT issues, even though the Matrix was written by a transgender writer. Because this is what happens when morons are allowed to talk to each other.
That was a good punchline. This is what happens when morons are allowed to talk to each other.
Algorithms pushing content catered towards what the consumer agrees with. It creates a Plato's cave scenario, where folks sometimes try to explain the reality of the cave that we're living in, only to be met back with, "But what colour is your cave?" If you've liked this video, remember to give it a like and a little share. And also, please, don't be influenced by some idiot you see on the internet and end up adopting their personality.
Please, take that advice. Very important. Don't. A day does not go by that I don't see another Andrew Tate stupidity. It's just something that floods my timeline every single time, And that is everything he said in that video. I completely agree with every single thing he said in that video. I completely agree with. Now here is exactly, this is something that I wanted to touch on, and this is a clip I want you guys to watch. But I want to give you guys a background to this clip, right? This is a very interesting news story. About what we talked about earlier. Remember, that had to do with Graham Linehan controversy with the venue that got cancelled and stuff like that. So we talked about it earlier on the stream, and I bookmarked. So this is bookmark. Where's my bookmark? Bookmark is which one? And this is the background to the whole story. Now this
live from Edinburgh.
after the whole controversy with the venue that cancelled and all whatnot, so this is the interview that followed, that was conducted by Talk TV, that hosts Piers Morgan Uncensored and other shows like that. And this is the interview that was conducted after the cancellation and everything, with the whole thing happening in UK, like we talked about earlier. And I want you guys to, this has been deleted from, like Talk TV has deleted this from all their platforms. So this is only available because some people screen recorded it and now they are posting it online because, you know, I guess they were not proud of, they finally discovered that this does not reflect, this reflected poorly on the news agency and it's not something for them to be proud of, so they removed it. But thankfully, people on the internet are always quick to grab certain things. So when you erase it, it is not gone because people have saved it. So we are going to watch it. And I want you guys to look at this and understand how personal bias influences these so-called journalists when they want to break a story or when they want to conduct an interview, and how this should be, and in my opinion, I think this should be grounds for people losing their jobs, their job as journalists or interviewers or whatever. Especially when you are working in the media, a professional media organization, this should be job-losing offense. You know. So let's watch.
To talk a little bit more about this, Graham, thanks for making the time. Here in the studio, I'm joined by human rights campaigner Peter Tatchell and socialist and author Grace Blakely. We'll get to their views shortly, but first, let's dive into this with Graham. I've got to ask you, Graham, did you expect this?
Well, yeah. I mean, I didn't have enough time to expect it. I didn't realize my photograph was going to be put on the poster or the announcement, and then it was. And within 2 hours, the event had been cancelled, you know. So I didn't really have time to expect anything.
I'm going to ask you quite frankly, is it a strategy, do you think, not necessarily by you, but by the comedy group, to get more attention for this comedy show? Because if it is, it's been very successful. You've announced that there's going to be another venue for this, one more fitting. You've directed people to the ticket sales. You've had a lot of publicity over the last 24 hours talking about this. Was this all strategized?
Now, what kind of stupid question is that? This is the problem. It's just the same nonsense that we saw with Charlamagne the God. And this is the same nonsense. Like, why do interviewers and journalists, why do they ask this kind of really stupid questions? Somebody just got cancelled. A venue that they booked for a comedy show cancelled their event and said they will not take these people's business and they should go somewhere else. And when this happened, your first response, after you asking, did you expect this? Which is already kind of okay. Maybe you cannot jump to conclusion and say this person this is bad faith questioning. And then the next question you ask is, was this planned? Was this a publicity stunt? Did you know that you were going to get cancelled, and so you did this because you know if you get cancelled, it's going to boost the publicity for your event? That is the question. And what makes this question a fair question? Like, how is this even a fair question to ask? Like, what make you believe that, oh, this is something that is fair to ask? Like, I should ask this, and I think it is a fair question. Let's ask them if they planned this. If you had done your research as a journalist, you know, something that I believe journalists should do before interviewing people, this is something we are beginning to see reoccurring over and over and over again. That you have someone you want to conduct an interview with someone, and you do not research your questions. You ask questions like an idiot. You know nothing about the question you are even asking. If you had done basic, simple research, you would have known that the venue was already sold out. The publicity for the show was not a problem. Venue was already sold out. And here is the funny thing. It turns out that the second venue that they booked that was a bit bigger than the one that they were cancelled from, later cancelled again. And they had to now host the event in front of the Scottish Parliament, open air. Was that the publicity they wanted to garner for their? They wanted to attract for their event? How is that financially beneficial to anyone? that you're going to have a show and it's not going to be in a room. It's going to be outdoors in front of Scottish Parliament. Is that the show they wanted to give their fans? Is that how they wanted to make money? Like, how do people, why is that? Jesus Christ. You already shows your bias is already like showing, and you were so blinded by it that it did not allow you to do your job as a journalist. Listen, if somebody, I am not saying as a human being you won't have biases. It is of course you would. You are a human being, but when you are a journalist, part of your job is to keep your biases aside, or as much as possible try to separate them from the job you are supposed to carry out. And that job is to be as unbiased as possible. And if you cannot do that, then journalism is not for you. Try social commentary. But that's not all she did, though. That's not, in fact, that's the beginning.
Quite distasteful. You've compared.
Can you give me an example?
I am hesitant to platform some of the language you've used, but I've seen some of the tweets that put the name was kind of kept back until the last minute. It was gonna be offensive to that community, to that venue. That must have been known by the group that put this together.
What about my views would be?
I think she's already assuming that this thing was done intentionally. Like, oh, it must have been known. You guys must have. That's right off the gate. That's how she's starting the end. Oh, you guys must have known that this is the kind of controversy that you two. So we hosted an event. We booked a venue, and we did all the things we did, and then we publicized the event, and we knew the venue is going to cancel the event, and that would have generated. Really? Is that how people? Is that how people? Have this lady ever organized an event in her life? It's like, oh, I'm organizing this event, and I'm going to self-sabotage my own event for publicity. To publicize what? The event that just got cancelled by the venue? Jesus Christ. Man, some people really are just, I don't. And then they say it is those on the far right that are conspiracy theorists. Yeah.
Be offensive. Can you give me an example?
I am hesitant to platform some of the language you've used, but I've seen some of the tweets you've written in the past about people.
You're hesitant to platform some of the language I've used.
Yeah, because I don't like it. I find it quite distasteful.
I'm going to accuse you of saying distasteful things, and I'm not even going to provide proof of it because I think they are distasteful, and I want my viewers at home to know they are distasteful because I said they are distasteful. So distasteful that I will not show it to them, but they should take my word for it that it is distasteful. Really? Really? Give us an example of the distasteful tweets. No, I'm not going to give you an instance or an example of it because I don't want to platform it because it's distasteful and it's distasteful and it's distasteful and they are distasteful and they are distasteful. End of story. Graham, agree with me, they are distasteful. Really? Are we really having a conversation here? Journalism in 2023, ladies and gentlemen.
Can you give me an example?
You've compared people in the trans community to, quote, nonces you often liken people within the trans community to paedophiles.
No, what I said was there are central figures within the trans community. Amy Challoner is one example, who is now married to a paedophile. His father is serving 24 years in prison for torturing and sexually abusing a little girl. Amy Challoner was at the heart of Stonewall when Stonewall was introducing self-ID in institutions across the country. So he's just one example. The inventor of the trans flag has written so-called erotic stories about young girls.
Graham.
He said that
Graham, I mean, do you understand the difference here between, because what you know, this has turned into an argument about whether comedians can be risque and controversial and dark in their humour, which of course they can be. People are brilliant at it. I think you're a comic genius. Your work with, you know, Father Ted, the It Crowd, Black Books, exceptional. Some of my favourite comedy. Of course, I understand dark and controversial views make comedy. But is there a difference, though, between airing outright offensive political views on Twitter and the artfulness of bringing dark opinion into comedy?
Yeah, but none of my comedy is about this issue. It's just observational comedy.
But do you not understand why your Twitter output and why your commentary of the last few years has led you down this path to being constantly cancelled?
So because I have views that people don't agree with, therefore it is okay for me to be cancelled. Like that is what you have an interview with somebody who just got cancelled, and what you're telling the person is, maybe you should tone down some of the things you are saying so that people will not cancel you. Have you ever considered not saying what you feel to be true, what you know to be true? Maybe if you stop saying the things you believe to be true, then you won't get cancelled. You know, it's like telling somebody, you are being censored, but you know, by people who don't like what you are saying. And I believe in free speech, but maybe you should shut up. You know, if you just shut up, you have free speech as long as you're not saying the things you want to say. Yeah. That is what a journalist is telling somebody who is suffering the full weight of cancel culture. That's exactly what they're telling the person.
Yeah, because you're protecting paedophiles. The media is protecting paedophiles, like Amy Challoner, who was at the heart of Stonewall when Stonewall was introducing self-ID around the country. Once again, Amy Challoner.
Here's the funny thing: some of the allegations he made here, let's call them allegations. He says there's certain people in the trans community who are pedophiles, right? He made those statements. These are the people in the trans community who are pedophiles. The lady is like, oh, those are distasteful. How are they distasteful? If they are true, how are they distasteful? She did not bring any proof to counter the fact that they are distasteful. She's like, oh, you are defaming these people. And he's like, if I'm defaming them, why have none of them filed a lawsuit against me for defamation if I'm defaming them by calling them pedophiles? Why have none of these people who I have called pedophiles brought me to court for defamation, sued me for defamation? Why have none of them done that if I am lying? And the lady says nothing. And it's like, oh, they are just distasteful. Oh, why will you accuse these people of pedophilia? Like, journalism into it. Just keep watching and see the awesome journalism we are dealing with in this day and age.
Amy Challoner's boyfriend is an admitted paedophile who writes short stories about abusing children. Now listen.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Every time we bring up these central figures, we are accused of calling every figure who is trans a paedophile. We're not. We're talking about those people who the media and trans rights activists never call out.
There are plenty of people in the media, Graham, who are calling out extremist factions within the trans community. The people you've just mentioned, by the way, are named. They're not here. They are not here to defend themselves.
Name one person.
There are plenty
Name
of
one person who is calling out the trans rights activists who put pornographic images underneath J.K. Rowling's tweets.
Graham,
name one trans rights activist who condemned that act.
Well, look, can I just ask you this actually before we go? Do you regret having taken this path? Because you seem to have taken a more and more extreme path over the last few years.
How is it extreme?
The views you've just expressed, most people would call those extreme. When you started,
you think it's extreme to be an anti-paedophile who was at the heart of
those are allegations. Once again, this is a news program. These people aren't here to defend themselves.
These are not allegations. These are being reported. I did not report. When have I been? I'm being sued by a trans rights activist named David Paisley. The last trans rights activist.
Exactly. If I'm defaming somebody, why am I not being sued? Good question. If I'm defaming any of them, why am I not being sued?
Stephanie Hayden is a criminal.
Graham,
David Paisley is a man
who
destroyed a gay magazine called Boys Magazine, destroyed the livelihood of its editor, David Bridle, And all of this is readily available online.
And in which
You've
case,
come
if
into
you
this
are
interview
Graham,
without understanding the subject.
if you're in
You
active
come in
legal
just
proceedings, Graham, I'm going to cut away for your own good. I'm going to cut away for your own good, just so that we don't get you into any further.
Well, Peter defamed me several times in that speech. He said that I sent violent threats to people. So once again, I'm going to have to be speaking to legal people about this. I named central figures in the trans movement who have never been called out by Peter Thatcher. Peter Thatcher, who wrote a letter.
I mean, this is Cathy Newman level of embarrassing journalism. This is Cathy Newman, as far as this is Cathy Newman level of embarrassing journalism. Like she. In fact, Cathy Newman did a better job. But in fact, that's an insult to Cathy Newman. Seriously, that's a very big insult. Cathy Newman did a way better job at interviewing Jordan Peterson than this lady is doing with this guy. You know. And there's something I want to point out. I think I said that earlier. People losing their job for what they say, right, is something that is bad. Right? But sorry, my leg touched something that disconnected. What did I do? Give me a minute, guys. Let me fix something. Let me fix something. Something just got disconnected. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. My leg hit something, and something I connected got disconnected. Anyway, so what was I saying? What was I saying before that? Guys, remind me. I was saying something. What was I saying? Anyway, I've forgotten what I wanted to say. Okay, yeah, I remember what I wanted to say. I was talking about journalists. And okay, first of all, I was talking about people getting cancelled for or losing their job because of something they said or something they tweeted. And I'm like, I'm against that. I don't think it's a good thing for people to lose their job because they tweeted something. I don't think it's good for people to lose their job or, experience what this guy in this video is obviously experiencing because of something they said. It's bad. People should be allowed to express their opinion. Now, the rule, that's the rule for everyone. But when you're a journalist, the rule is kind of different. Right? The rule is kind of different because as a journalist, what you are supposed to say, especially when you are doing your job as a journalist, what you're supposed to do is seek the truth. Right? Part of your job involves you speaking, and speaking at least in a way that reflects the truth of the matter. And I'm not saying every time you're going to get something correct, you make mistakes, of course. And those can be forgiven if they are obvious, honest mistakes. Or even sometimes they may be dumb mistakes, but if you can admit that they are mistakes, fine. We'll let it go and let it slide. I'm not saying journalists are perfect human beings who always speak the truth all the time. That's why we have, many of them, and that's why we now have citizen journalism, so that everybody can get access to the truth, right? But as a journalist, it's just like members in the church and then the pastor, right? All members in the church are all worshiping God and all have, standard before God that they should uphold. But there is a special standard for the pastor. So when it comes to journalism, every citizen, breaking certain news, you can say whatever you want to say. You might even be wrong in sharing a link about an article or a story or whatever, or breaking a certain news story. You might be wrong about it. But when journalists are talking about it, they cannot exercise the same kind of standard that the average individual is exercising. Little research, nothing goes into what you are doing. And then when you make such a disaster in the name of journalism, somehow losing your job is you being cancelled. No, it is not you being cancelled. It's you being a terrible journalist. Free speech for you as a journalist is the freedom to speak the truth. When you are not doing that as a journalist, then you should lose your job. That is why when people do certain terrible interviews and stuff like that, like what Candace Owens did, and I'm like, no, this is job losing debacle. I'm not saying they don't have the freedom to do whatever. I'm just saying, yeah, you can go ahead and do it as a private individual, but when you are representing a journalist, a firm, a media house that is supposed to stand and speak for the truth, you are doing a terrible job. And if you're doing a terrible job, you should lose it. I don't think that is complicated. I feel it's very reasonable if you ask me. I don't think that violates freedom of expression. He's saying you're a journalist, you're supposed to do your job well, you didn't do it well, maybe you should lose that job. I mean, if a security man does a terrible job, he loses that job. If somebody at Walmart who's the cashier doesn't do a very good job, they lose the job. A mechanic doesn't do a good job, they lose the job. If a journalist does not do a good job, even though that job requires speaking, the fact that he did not say the right thing, and the right thing being the true thing, I'm not talking about political ideology here. I'm talking about seeking and pursuing the truth, allowing your ideology to get in the way of you seeking and pursuing and reporting on the truth. If you fail in your job because of that, because of your ideology and because of your biases, then you should lose your job. This is not you. This is not a contravention of your freedom of your right to free expression. That's how I see it anyway. Let's move on from this story, because we have many more. Let's move on from the story because we have many more. And what brought me here is what brought me here is the response this lady gave after the backlash from this interview. So after this interview aired, there was massive backlash because people were like, "This is terrible. This is bad. This interview was poorly conducted." And she gave a response. And just listen. This is something very stupid that these people do. You do something terrible in the public. There are valid criticism people are criticizing you, and they are offering valid criticism that you should consider. And this is the response that these people do. Just listen to this.
Home each and every day is a privilege. And I want to start the show tonight by addressing my interview with Graham Linehan last night. It went out live, but we aren't repeating it.
Oh, the guy's name is Linehan. Sorry, I call him Linehan. I butchered his surname. Sorry, I'm not good with surnames. I don't even know how some of these names have been pronounced. Maybe I should learn it before going live. Linehan. Sorry. I called him Linehan.
And that's not because of censorship, not because we're seeking to deplatform anyone. One of the reasons for Talk TV's existence is to hear from all sides of the argument. We don't hide from sensitive topics. We believe in free speech. We relish robust debate. But it's also important for us to stay within the parameters of tried and trusted principles around broadcasting. Now, others may seek...
Tried and trusted principles of broadcasting like what? Like what? Asking stupid questions? Allowing your biases to get in the way of you conducting a reasonable interview? Is that one of the standards of... Let me get that phraseology again.
Tried and trusted principles around broadcasting.
Those are the tried and trusted principles of broadcasting. That's your tried and trusted principles of broadcasting. To bring a witness, to bring a guest on your show, and then ambush the guest, and then bombard the guest with stupid questions. And when you do that, these are the tried and trusted principles of broadcasting. Yeah, that's why that broadcasting is failing. That's why views are plummeting. That is exactly why. They are really tried and trusted and true and steadfast and consistent and have led to success rather. As in the high rate of success that these principles have guaranteed is phenomenal. Is obviously, evidently clear, visible to the blind.
Now, others may seek to deliberately abuse or undermine those rules. We
like you
don't. We view what we do coming into your home each and every day as a privilege, and we take that responsibility very seriously, and we'll continue to do so. Now, I have also received a great deal of personal abuse across social media.
Yeah, and this is the part that I hate. Are you seeing what they're doing here? Are you seeing exactly what she's doing here? She has been criticized. She has received valid criticism. People have told her that she did a terrible job. This is bad. This is not journalism. This is not how you conduct an interview. She leaves all the valid criticism, and what does she go for? And what does she go for? Abuse. People have abused me on social media because of I conducted an interview. I've been abused. In fact, she will even go.
Media over the past 24 hours. So there's a few things I'd like to make clear. I'm a journalist, but of course I have my own deeply felt personal views, and they don't necessarily chime with everyone I interview or even everyone I work with here at Talk TV. Just ask peers or pretty much anyone else. But no one here has ever tried to influence the way I work. No one's tried to censor my thoughts or my beliefs. In fact, they've only ever given me free rein to be who I am, uncensored, if you will.
Problem, that's... No. And I'm saying this to not just Talk TV. I'm also saying it to the Daily Wire. I'm saying it to each and every one of them. No. Don't give people in your platform free rein. Don't. Yeah, people will be shocked to hear this from me, and I'm saying it. No, don't. You should have guidelines. You should have principles. It's not free rein as long as you adhere to these principles. Your company should have principles, not free for all. Every Tom, Dick, Harry, and Jonathan can come in and say whatever nonsense they want to say. And we are going to allow them because we allow free expression. No. You should have principles. You should have guidelines. Your organization should have guidelines. Not this free rein nonsense is nonsense. Free rein to perform and admit to do this absolute nonsense in the name of journalism. Free rein, is that what free rein is? I'm going to have the free rein to do a terrible job. I've been given the liberty to be an absolute idiot when it comes to journalism. And I'm sure she's going to add it as one of the insults she received online by virtue of this interview. I have been... Is that what people should do? No. Absolutely not. You should have guidelines, not do whatever. No, you don't do whatever here. You are representing this company and you should represent it well. And this is our principle. This is our guideline. This is what we stand for. We stand for truth. We stand for honesty. We stand for professionalism. We stand for you, in most cases, putting your biases aside and trying to get to the bottom of the truth. That's what we stand for. That's what true journalism is about. Jesus Christ, when has journalism been about, I am coming here as a journalist to tell you what I think? You're not a pundit. You are a freaking journalist. They're not the same thing. Like, is it just me? I mean, there should be a difference between Matt Walsh and one of you people who break the news in CNN. There should be a difference between those people. One is a pundit, one is a journalist. One is paid to break the news, the other one is paid to offer an opinion. Guys, is it just me, or am I saying something that so many of you in the chat are not vibing to? Am I saying something that many of you are like, oh, talk about something else? Maybe I should leave this story. Let me leave the story. But that's essentially what she said. Like somebody pointed out here. Like Lil Buzibet pointed out. Yeah, she's doing the whole victim mentality routine. When I get criticized, I'm going to play the victim. I'm going to say, listen, I've been victimized. They're insulting me. Can you imagine? Is this the first time in your life that you are facing insults on the internet? This is the first time it is happening to you. It doesn't happen often. It doesn't happen every other day. This is the first time it's happening. It's well. Anyways, let's keep it going. Let's finish this.
Well, I'm in this chair doing exactly that. So I'll continue to challenge. I'm going to continue to call out hypocrisy, bullying, misinformation, wherever or when.
You did not do any of that. You did not. This is not bullying. You didn't call out hypocrisy. There is no the only hypocrisy and bullying and misinformation that Jesus Christ, as in the lack of self-awareness is so abundant today. The lack of self-awareness is really so abundant today. Like, can you not see how much you're not even looking at the mirror? What did Linehan, Graham Linehan say what did he say that was misinformation? What did he say what did he do that was bullying? This is somebody that got cancelled. And you are accusing somebody who got cancelled of bullying. Jesus Christ. You got to be kidding me. You're accusing that person of bullying. Who did he bully? Jesus Christ. This is unbelievable. This is unbelievable.
Whenever I see it. So let's keep debating. Let's keep discussing these issues, big or small, that really matter to the world. But for pity's sake, let's keep it civilized.
Yeah, like you did in the interview. Yeah, so that's the kind of thing we see from. I guess this comes with I call it corporatism, right? When people become corporate, when all this corporate journalism, I won't call it mainstream journalism. It's not mainstream journalism I have a problem with. It's corporate journalism. Exactly. Thank you, Lou Buzibet. Thank you so much for what you just said here. Great journalists never seem to get their feelings hurt. Yes, they interview the worst of the worst, and none of them have done this thing that this lady just. There are people who interview Jeffrey Dahmer, people who interview Gaddafi, people who interview presidents who have done terrible things like Vladimir Putin. There are people who interview these guys and they keep it civil. They don't have this will I call it badgering of your guest. None of them do this kind of nonsense. Yes, like Molelekwa said, it's called bullying because it's facts you don't like. Exactly. When I say to you things you don't like, yeah, of course, I'm bullying you. Once somebody is saying something you don't agree with, that person is a bully, according to Roseanne Lockwood. And she's a journalist, you guys must know. She's very soon she'll win one award like that for pristine journalism. I don't even understand what Gavin Giant is saying, but let's move on from that comment. I've always thought that journalists can only listen, read, investigate, and personal opinions are exactly. That's what journalism is about. It's not about journalism. Is you ask the right question, you stay unbiased, you don't allow your emotion to get in the way. Nobody cares about what you think about the view. All you have to do is to expose it, and then leave us to come to our own conclusion, ask the right questions, get the answer, give an adequate follow-up that allows the person to explain himself or herself. Now, journalism today is got you moment. Like it's so crazy. You bring somebody on you don't agree with, and you are waiting. You are looking for a got you moment. Even when the person says something that you find that your viewers will find abhorrent or disagree with, you don't even tell the person to explain further. No, the person does not even have to explain further. You are even eager to take the person out of context. Sometimes they do these interviews and they just chop some parts up and present something that will make the person look bad. They do it, showing you obviously that people don't care about the truth. That's what they do now in the name of journalism. Gavin Giant said, "I'm taking things out of context." How am I taking things out of context? Did you just join the chat? Did you just join the stream? I watched the original live stream. Guys, you've been on the stream. We watched the original live stream. We saw the interview she conducted, and now we are watching her response to the criticism of the terrible interview that she conducted. And somebody is telling me that I am taking things out of context. We watch full clips here. This is one of the problems that I face on the internet every freaking day. Whether you watch it full, you watch it in part, you watch it every day, you get accused of taking. Please, Gavin Giant. Sorry, let me not pounce on you because I'm really in my zone right now. Let me not pounce on you and take it out on you. You're not Rosanna Lockwood. Let me not take it out on you. But please, I want you to help me provide context. If there's something I'm missing, point it out for me. Let me learn. I'm open to learn. Please, if there's something I'm missing, let me know what that thing is. Provide me with the context under which what she just said made sense and qualifies as excellent journalism. Yeah. Even I too. Her sister, like Barbara Waters, for example, like you just mentioned. I remember her interview with Donald Trump was terrible. But this, what you just said in her interview with Gaddafi, yeah, I remember that. And she, for all her flaws, that was not one of them. She really did a relatively good job. You know. Although now that's not the standard. The problem with journalism today, or the problem with every professional or profession today, is that people are no longer professionals. They are now activists. Nobody is allowed to be a professional anymore in the West. You must be an activist. You are a musician, singing is not enough. You must support one cause or push one agenda. You are a barber, it's not enough. You must post Black Square or support an organization or do one thing or the other. You are disorganized. You are making coffee. No, you have to support the LGBTQIA plus community. Nobody. You are no longer just allowed to just do your job. You are in Hollywood. You are an actor. Now you are now an advocate for feminism and equal gender pay gap and women harassment in the workplace. You have to push a particular agenda or something, or climate change or whatever it is. Just be an actor. Just be a comedian. Just be a singer. Just be a journalist. Just be that. That is the best thing you can do as a professional. Your best service to humanity. I know people that idea has been lost on so many people in 2023, but the best job you can do as a professional, whatever that profession is, the best thing you can do in that profession is to do your job. And stick to just doing your job. If your job is to sell clothes, sell clothes. If your job is to sing, sing. If your job is to dance, dance. If your job is to crack jokes, crack jokes. We don't need to know what you think about Donald Trump. If your job is to act, just act. And look at what is happening today. The quality of goods and services have reduced, but the quantity of activism has increased. Now we have actors putting out terrible movies. Movies that you will just know after 15 minutes and discover that you've wasted your money. That's what they are putting out right now. But they are powerful activists. Oh, the causes that they are championing are numerous. Every acceptance speech is a doctrine. It's a preaching moment. It's a time to tell the rest of us how morally superior they are. But when it comes to talent, we can do a better job at acting. A 5-year-old can act better than some of these actors. But when it comes to preaching, oh, yeah, they should just open a church, the church of whatever cause they want to champion. Instead of acting or singing or whatever they have been called to do. Every professional now must be an activist. And that is why your biases and your personal opinion takes center stage, as if that's what we pay you to do. You are an athlete, just run, just play basketball. No, it's not enough. I must know what you think. Who asks you? Who turns on ESPN to know what LeBron James thinks? Yeah, that's why I'm watching sports. When you kneel down in front of the stadium, that's what I came to watch. I want to know what you think about BLM and police brutality. That's your expertise. That's well within your ballpark. It's well. And one more thing from my feed. Should we look at one more Andrew Tate? No, we've had enough Andrew Tate. Okay, yeah, something very interesting. I guess this is a new trend on. Here's a new trend on TikTok.
Ow! That hurt. I wanted to crack it.
Go, crack it. Woo!
That hurts.
Are you okay?
No.
Ready?
Yeah.
Two.
Stop it.
You ready? Here.
Hi.
Ow.
Now I saw this trend, like it was shared on Twitter. You know, I think it's a current TikTok trend, and people were like, "Oh, this is bad." I'm like, "Come on." The only thing that I think is bad here is that people are posting. Like I've said in previous streams, that I am not a fan of putting your children on social media. That's the only thing that is wrong here, is putting your children on social media. Of course, I do not. I think that's bad. Don't post videos of your children. You know, these people did not consent to have their image and likeness used to increase subscribers and increase your viewership. They did not sign up for you joining a trend or something on social media. And I am like, nah, don't put your children out there. But other than that, there is nothing wrong with this trend. People are like, this is child abuse. I'm like, come on, how is this child abuse? People should just, as in, sometimes, especially those on the right, sometimes everything is just outrageous. Everything is just, it's too much. How dare those people crack egg on the head of their children? This is bad. This is terrible. This is child abuse. It is wrong. I'm like, come on. This is the thing. If you show this video to children, if you have a child now, and you show this video to the child, and they watch it and they are done watching it, I am very sure, I'm like the 70% likelihood that child will tell you to do it to them. That child will tell you, do it to me. I am very sure that's what that child will say. I'm very sure that they would look at it and be like, that's fun. So people should calm down. It's not everything that is, it's not everything that is opportunity for moral outrage. And we've done 3 hours, guys. I've been live for 3 hours. Clap for me. It's nice. I'm breaking record today. 3 hours. Even though in viewership I did not break record, but in longest time live, I just broke doing a live stream, my longest live stream ever. I just broke the record, and no interruption, no technical difficulty, except for when I had something, my light was shaking a bit because of something I kicked. Other than that, this has been a very wonderful live stream, and I've been on for 3 hours. Come on, I am expecting to see clapping hand emoji in the comments. Show me some love. Yeah, yes. So if you have any question for me, those in the chat, if you have any question, let's see if I can do this for 1 more hour. Oh, thank you, Lil Boozybet. Thank you so much. Thank you, Emmanuel. I don't know if my software cannot show the clapping hands, but thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, each and every one. I would love to highlight all those who are. I would love to highlight those who are clapping, but the software will not show the clapping hand. So, yeah. Thank you. Let me. If you have questions for me, or let's see if we can. Nah, I don't think I will be able to finish that. If I'm to start looking at the Maybe in the next live stream, or maybe I'll do another live stream tomorrow. Maybe I make no promises, but maybe call it Saturday special. Well, no, I don't like that kind of. Call it Saturday stupidity. What do you guys think? Saturday stupidity, Saturday special stupidity. Yeah, that would be cool. Anyways, and that would be me reacting to the whatever podcast. As if I don't even know what part of that podcast I was going to show if I were to go ahead and just react to it, because there are so many parts of it that I consider fascinating and I had so many things to talk about. I was just skimming through it. I was skimming through I was skimming through the podcast earlier today, preparing for the live stream, and I was seeing so many things that I wanted to talk about. I decided to react to it kind of yesterday, or day before yesterday. I was making a particular video, and I was making a short that I posted, and I was using a clip from that long podcast, and then I was going through the podcast itself, and I was like, whoa, there are a lot of things here that I think will make a very interesting live stream, and I get to share with you guys. But we've gone through we spent most of this live stream going through my Twitter profile. And please, I would love each and every one of you to head on to Twitter and give me a follow. Okay, let's get this Twitter handle to 1,000 followers. We can do this. Okay, please, each and every one of you. That would be lovely. That would be really, really lovely. Here's something that someone said. This is from Joanne, RM Joanne. She says Snow White turned brown because climate change. That's a good one. Here is from there's someone whose comment I cannot highlight. I don't know why. But he said, Mexican white and the 7 magical creatures, you mean? Yeah, whatever you want to call it. It's so ridiculous, the whole thing. And the actress herself, instead of, owning up to her mistake and saying, I made terrible comments and stuff like that, she went with I've received death threats. I was taken out of context. Like, young lady, you were not taken out of context. In context or whatever, however you want to look at the comments you were making, they were terrible. They were terrible. You sounded like an obnoxious human being, an obnoxious or grateful, irritable human being. It's like you were hell bent on destroying the prospect of your movie, as if Disney has not done enough to make sure people do not watch it. You are like, let me put a couple of final nails on this coffin and make sure that this would be the worst remake in human history. What you should be praying right now is that people forget all the nonsense you said. Let all of that end in 2024. People should not remember it in 2023. People should not remember it in 2024 when the movie is released, which I doubt will be the case because the internet does not forget. And people who think this is of course, it's already bad. At this point, just Disney should just know that they've destroyed the prospect of Snow White's remake, which I don't even know why they are even making remakes again. People are not doing anything. Can't we have new cartoons, new fairy tales? Disney. Nobody in your writer's room. Those ones that are carrying placard and protesting for higher pay. None of them can come up with a new fairy tale. None, really. And they want what are they now agitating for? What are they asking for? For higher pay for not being original for the past 20 years? Congratulations, guys. Yeah, that's the problem. That's the thing. These days, when people are asking for higher pay, they are doing terrible jobs. Like, pay us more. But guess what? We are now being ridiculously terrible at whatever it is we are doing. But we are demanding for higher pay because we deserve it. Yeah, that's wonderful, And I don't blame the lady. Of course, I'm very sure everything she was saying she was perfectly representing. She was perfectly You know, maybe not with as much grace as would have been expected from her, but she was really, or as would not expected, but required. I mean, what were they expecting from her? She's young and dumb. So the expectation when it comes to her promoting her movies, I don't know what the expectation could be, you know, but it wasn't high. She could have just kept quiet. I think she will learn from this debacle the beatitude of keeping quiet, of just shutting your mouth and not saying stupid things. You know, I'm not thinking that you are wise. Like that's one thing that people, these young actors, young talents, they really think they have something to say. Oh yeah, guys, listen to me. I have this profound wisdom I want to share with you guys because I got a major role. Now I'm smart. You know, now I think I'm in the in crowd and I have something to say because I have my first breakout role. Put all cameras on me and point the mic at me. I have a couple of things I need to say. Jesus Christ. When this is the point where you should just keep quiet and say little to nothing and just be humble. You are not there yet. This is just one role, you know. But I wonder who are the people advising her. You know, I think these days these industries are just surrounded with a lot of babies. A whole lot of babies and immature people because the level of immaturity coming out of Hollywood is just amazing at this point. Anyway, guys, that's me ranting about Snow White. And like you can predict, I love to rant about a lot of things, some of which are just irrelevances. Sorry, this is Garfield Clown Cat 37 said Western youths are dumb. Yeah, they are. They are really dumb. Really, really dumb. Really, really dumb. And this is from Gavi Giant. He said Disney are shooting themselves in the foot, especially when numpties say certain things. Exactly. They just, I don't know what you mean by numpties. You're right. You're right. When they open their mouth, it's like a disaster is about to happen. Each and every one of them. Once they open their mouth to promote their movies, like, maybe part of the marketing strategy should be these people should keep their mouth shut. But I don't know. It's like these children are the ones in charge. You know, children are the ones in charge, rather. Yes, they are full of narcissism, like extreme narcissism. They being humble is not part of their particular set of skills. They speak like Liam Neeson in Taken. All right, guys, thank you each and every one of you for being a part of this live stream. Thank you guys so much. I greatly appreciate it. And I really love how this went. And I'll be doing this again on Monday. I may do another one I may do one on Saturday, or Sunday, as the case may be, depending on where you are streaming from, where you are watching from. I may do one soon before Monday. That's what I'm trying to say. But so just subscribe if you are not yet subscribed. Ring the notification bell so that whenever I go live, you will be part of this conversation and you'll catch me live and you will not miss this great opportunity. My viewer count is kind of low, but it's fine. You know, it's good to start with small numbers when you're trying to, find your footing. Allows you to make a couple of mistakes with little eyes watching you. And I'm grateful for the opportunity. I really am. I'm deeply grateful. Like, I am really grateful. I'm really, really grateful. Thank you, guys. And I hit a major milestone today. I was able to stay 3 hours live. Something that I've been wanting to do. And I was able to achieve it today. And I'm happy that a couple of you are willing to stick around with me and watch me for this long. It's been a pleasure entertaining, informing, and talking to you guys and, hanging out with you guys. It's been fun. Thank you. I get to do this because of you guys, and I'm really grateful. I'm really grateful. And, till the next show, have a wonderful night or wonderful morning.